Alright, man. If you need to move this way, the boom mic will. Like I said, we're limited cable.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's we'll fuck around with it. We'll get it going. Most of this is audio shit anyway. Alrighty, my man. Cheers. Cheers. Introduce yourself. Let people know what you're about.
My name's Kai Fahey, Canberra boy for most of my life anyway. Enough to say that I'm a Canberra boy. And truck driving comedian. Bit of a
the 1-2 punch.
Yeah, the 1-2 punch. So drive trucks by day, tell jokes by night, and it's
what Actually, before we kick off, and I know I should have probably done this beforehand. I'm gonna turn the fucking aircon on because it's hot as shit.
It is, yeah. And I like to wear beanies.
Keep talking, man.
So that's really what I'm sort of about. Just drive around telling jokes. Single dad. 15-year-old girl. She's driving me nuts the way 15-year-old girls will, I'm sure, to most parents. There's way too much of me in her, I think. That's probably the problem. We butt heads because, we're too much alike.
I think if you're not butting heads, you're not doing it right.
Yeah,
isn't that correct? If you're one of those kids that doesn't drive you up the wall, are they really your kids? You're just their uncle.
Well, it's funny because, not that I've ever actually questioned whether she was my daughter, but I know, like, the day that I knew she was my daughter was like, we'd have these big biblical fights, and I was like,
you're so much like me.
Yeah. I once rang my mum up and apologised, like that's how bad the fight is.
It's how do you get mad at yourself? You know what I mean? It's all that. That's exactly what you're doing though. You're just getting mad at yourself. It's not them. It's just like, you're just saying the shit that I would say to other people to drive them fucking crazy.
And then she's like, you don't understand that? Oh, I fucking understand.
Oh, I'm getting it. I'm picking it up. I wrote the book on that bitch. What are you talking about? I fucking know. Cool. All right. So I think the comedy side, let's get into later. Truck driving.
Yeah.
What's that about? Who do you drive for?
Can
we shout out?
No, probably not actually.
No, that's not.
I just do domestic rubbish. So
sick,
your
man.
local garbo.
Yeah, that's how. I think that's how we. Through a mutual.
Through a mutual friend, and So I mean, it's hey, we were on strike recently, and a lot of people were questioning why I'd be on strike, and I can't go into it really, but I will say it's a lot harder job than people think it is, man. It's 11 hours a day. We don't get public holidays. Fuck. Like, even if I take we got to take Christmas Day off. We got to work the Saturday on either side of Christmas to make up for it. Like, it's literally
excellent.
No downtime. It's I like to say to people, like, how great is it to, go to the toilet, like when you need to go to the toilet at work? It's like, Garbos don't do that. We got to go, we got to plan our toilet trips.
Yeah, that's right.
Got to take a 15-minute detour to get to a toilet if we really need one. It's actually quite solitary driving. Your best friend's the radio sort of thing.
Yeah, that's right.
But look, it's not a bad. It is a hard job, physically demanding.
Working through the elements.
Yeah, I know we don't get out. And throw rubbish like they used to, but it's they say that sitting still's the new smoking. It's a stationary job. Like, I'm in a truck seat for 10 to 11 hours a day.
I can feel that, man.
Yeah,
as the Bobcat operator.
Yeah. Well, it's like and you're in this tiny little cube,
we didn't have the radio. I remember I had. So we're allowed
without the radio.
We're allowed earplugs to block the sound, but you weren't allowed to have music.
That's nuts. I couldn't do it. Like, music really does. Like, it keeps me sane.
It takes the edge off a little bit, huh?
I listen to podcasts, listen to audiobooks. I go through. I got a huge variety of things that I got to listen to just to sort of, because it's like, besides being, you got to be hyper aware because you're on the road and you're driving and there's lots of things around you, but it's also really repetitive. So because we're operating we got the arm, we got the arm and it's doing all the bin, but we're doing like. I empty like 1,200 bins a day, mate. It's a lot of bins, and it's just the same. I always I remember growing up, I was like, well, I don't know how factory workers do it, how they just sit there at a conveyor belt.
Same thing,
but if you think about it, it's just the same thing with you but with the extra added thing of, you know, moving a few feet or a couple of meters every
yeah, that's right.
issue,
Hey, it's a job that's incredibly underappreciated, and you get those fucking asshole teachers who are like, "Do you want to grow up to be the garbage man?" Like, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah, pretty much. And look.
But I think there's that thing where I think it was in like a movie. I think it was in like the Biggie Smalls movie.
Yeah.
And the teacher said to him that exact same thing, and then he was like, "Ma, how much are garbage people make?" And it turns out to be more than some of these teachers.
Some of these teachers, yeah. Oh, look, I won't lie. It is a well paid job.
Yeah,
but you do make a lot of sacrifices to get that extra paycheck. So
yeah, that's right.
That's where the balance is. You know, it's
so teachers at Melbourne High, fuck you.
Teachers at Campbell High, fuck you.
Fuck you.
Yeah. No, I said I'd grow up to be nothing.
That's right.
You were right. Nah.
Yeah.
No.
You're 50%. You're halfway there.
I actually ran into one of my old teachers. Recently, and I was telling him about sort of the way my life was. You know, the things I do with myself, and he's just like, yeah, that sounds about right. Actually, I can see that's the kind of person you're going to be back then.
What an odd position to be in for teachers to make these fucking accusations and these assumptions when you're a child. Like, fair enough, you got it right, but fuck you for getting it right. You know what I mean? It's just like, you'll never become anything, and I didn't, so fuck you. I don't know. What got you into comedy, man? How did this turn about? What was the...
I've always loved comedy, man. Like, so growing up, even I was allowed to watch like Fast Forward and Full Frontal and all that sort of adult stuff that was on telly. And I even asked my mum, you know, later on in life, I said, "Why'd you let me watch like adult humor and stuff, even as a small child?" And she was just like, "You just got jokes." She goes, "You're like you always got humor. You just got jokes." Literal. Yeah. And but I never actually really thought about doing stand up. You know, I mean, I'd kind of thought about it, and I was a big fan of Eddie Murphy, and, you know, I'd watched lots of stuff.
Fuck, that was good, though.
Yeah. But it was actually, back in 2007, where I lost it all. My business went under, I went bankrupt, you know, my missus, like real cliche, my missus left me, you know, didn't get to see my daughter very much at those times. The bank took my car. Yeah. Like, I was, like, literally living out of a suitcase. Like, I literally had a suitcase. And I packed my suitcase up and I left Canberra and I went to Melbourne to go stay with my mum to try and sort of get back on my feet because she had moved to Melbourne a few years earlier. And I'd only been in Melbourne about 3 weeks, and I got a phone call off my sister going, "You know my friend Phil, the actor?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know Phil." And she's like, "Well, he's actually running the door for this comedy room in Melbourne. Yeah, right. And he got talking to one of the comedians about you. And Phil's always thought you had an affinity for comedy, and like, because I'm that guy who's like always telling jokes and stuff. Yeah. And he goes, he wants you to come out and meet the comedians, just thing. And I was really kind of at that point of like, fuck it. What have I man, like? What do I have? Literally nothing less to live. I'm bankrupt. There's no job. Yeah. I'm living with my mum. Like, it was just like the whole. Like, if I was a musician, I would have just started a blues band. You know what I mean? Like,
started busking and shit. Like, just fucking singing your sorrows.
Yeah, singing your sorrows. So I went along the next day and just met some comedian. Like, I met a comedian in particular, Shirley Hood, and she just was like, "I think you should try stand up." You know, we had a bit of chat and then she just started, they pretty much forced it upon me. And
what better way, huh? I guess
and I just started writing some jokes, and a couple of months later, it actually took me about 3 months to get on stage. Yeah. But I walked out, they put me in the first Deadly Funny, which is a Indigenous stand-up competition they run for the Comedy Festival. Yep. And I got wild carded into the sort of the grand final out of the workshops. Yeah, right. And so my very first time on stage, I walked out at 450 people, you know, like fucking this full hell. Like, and they fucking hell. I'll never forgive the guy around it, Jason Tamaru, love that guy, but I'll never forgive him because he put me on first. Like, this is like my first time ever on stage.
And you're warming him
massive up. And then he's just like, "You're going out first, you bastard." And,
what a way to get into it, though. Just fucking head first, straight into the deep end, man. Like, just...
Oh, yeah.
You either sink or swim, brother. Yeah. Like, you're either going to make it again.
I was hooked. That's it. I was hooked, you know.
It's a crazy lifestyle. Like, I think comedians are starting to become they're starting to shine a little better now. I think with everything that's happening in the world, we fucking need it. And we need somebody who's up there, like... Comedy is like it's a very fine line between being funny and being spot on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's that weird, like you hear jokes and you'll be like, you'll laugh and you're like, fuck, that's me. Fuck, I gotta sort my shit out.
Never a truer word was said in jest. But it's funny you say it because a lot of the stuff I pick on myself quite a lot. And like you said, sometimes I'll say things on stage and I'm like, oh, I really got to sort my life out.
No, I just told the world. I just told the world everything about my life. It's like I said, it's a crazy lifestyle. Do you get a lot of people, like I find this really weird, and I think everything that I've done, so I used to be in a band and being a PT or whatever it is, like every single time you go out and people are like, what do you do? And you're like, oh, I'm a comedian. Like, tell me a joke. And you're like, that's not how that works, man.
It's the worst.
Like,
it's the worst. It really
you know what I
is.
mean?
Please, anyone listening, don't ask a comedian to tell a joke. Don't ask a proctologist to stick a finger up your bum.
That's right.
It's just, when I'm not on the stage... Yeah, and I've literally just looked at people and just gone, no, and they're like, oh,
get out.
You're
a comedian.
Yeah, but I'm not on stage.
It's not like an actor's acting all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
right.
you walk up to an actor, you're like, hey, what do you do? Like, I'm an actor. Act.
Yeah, act now.
Do something.
And he's like, I'm acting like I like you.
Yeah, I'm acting that I'm trying not to punch you in your face.
Yeah, and occasionally, if I'm in a good mood, I've busted out jokes, and then people just look at me and just go, well, that's not funny.
Yeah, that's right.
But, because a lot of time, especially my particular style of comedy is sort of storytelling and long form.
Yeah.
Well, not long form, but yeah. It's like there's a lot of context, to get to that one, to make that one joke funny.
So just trying to do a punchline.
I need like 3 or 4 minutes of these other style of jokes and it kind of flows. And occasionally you get a laugh. I have generic jokes now, like joke book jokes, and people go, tell me a joke, and I just go,
you hit them with it.
I'll be like, what's brown and sticky? A stick. Or it's not actually my all-time favourite joke, which normally gets me in trouble, but I would say, 2 terrorists walk into a bar, boom, boom.
And everyone's like, it's one of those jokes. Even my brain was like, fuck, do I laugh at
that? Yeah. So I just laugh. There you go. So it's short, sharp, and punchy, but it is. He says one of those things. Everyone's like, "What?
It's a joke."
No,
I'll punch you in your throat.
Yeah. Not quite.
You're gonna get one straight to your throat. That's the joke. Everybody will laugh, but you.
No. And then I actually had one. I used to do Uber driving.
Yeah.
I picked up this footy boy, and he's like, "Oh," and I was telling him about comedy and stuff. He's like, "Come, we're actually having our end of year footy party," and come inside, tell some jokes to the boys. I'll pay you $50. I'm like, yeah, why not? And because I was telling him jokes, he was laughing. And then I got inside and I tried to do my routine to these drunk footy boys. And I think the only person laughing was their old coach. And these other footy was like...
$50 is $50, right?
Yeah, but they're just like... I thought, I was lucky to get out there alive, I reckon. They were just looking at me just going, why are you not Dave Hughes? Like, that was like why are you not Dave Hughes? You're not funny. I'm like, and like the coach was laughing. He's like, this guy's not too bad. But the rest of them just looking at me just like, nah.
Is it one of those things where it's like I think what I know about being a comedian is like you go out and you have like this sort of set jokes and then you sort of like just try and pile things on top and see what works. And is it sort of similar to that? Do you do like
I'll go.
What is your process?
Look, every comedian's different, and every comedian's different in their process and sort of their style, but I think you're probably right. In the same line, I mean, you get comedians who just complete 100% freestyle.
Yeah, right.
But for most of us, we do sort of have a general set list in our heads.
Yeah.
And then we just go out there and because you generally know how long you got in advance so you're trying to make your 5 minutes work. And then you make your 5 minutes work, so you go out there and you kind of just do your set list. You can vary, variation from it.
Yeah.
Some comedians are actually like really strict about being, in their own mind about I've got to be word perfect.
Oh yeah, like
I need bang bang, and I can't miss a single word. I like to sort of be able to play a little bit more because then it doesn't sound as rehearsed. If you're allowed to sort of play with your wording and just kind of flow. You don't sound as rehearsed. It sounds a little more conversational. So people get the impression that it's more off the top of your head because they can actually see you thinking about, oh, what am I saying? But you just go out there. But if you don't have time, you can play around. Like I did a set recently, and I was emceeing. So emceeing, I get to play a lot when I MC.
Just do whatever you want.
And just do what I want, and then you know, people were talking. I ended up going on this whole tangent, and look, it was all jokes, and they're jokes that I have written.
Yeah,
jokes I haven't told in a while, and you do actually forget your routines. Like,
oh, right.
Like you actually forget jokes.
That's
So
fair.
to bring up stuff that you kind of not currently working on, it actually does make you think, and you will stuff up the jokes and stuff.
Yeah.
But I ended up going on this whole tangent about dick pics. It took like 6 minutes, and I ended up just talking about like these old jokes I hadn't really told. And I actually had an absolutely fantastic time. But I was like, oh, sorry, people. Like, I didn't actually I didn't get up here 2 minutes ago to talk about dick pics.
That wasn't a joke. That was just me having a chat. I just want to know what's up with it.
So it was a lot of fun. But yeah, you kind of got, you know, what you want in your head, and you try and make that work. Yeah.
I guess like touching on the thing, it's like it feels very off the cuff with most comedians. Like you watch any of the you know, the big ones, you can tell they sort of have like points that they want to talk about, but it does feel like this naturally sort of flowing type thing. Yeah,
I mean, and that does come with honing your craft and stuff. There's some like me, like Bill Burr and Ross Noble. I'm a big fan of Bill Burr. Ross Noble. I kind of follow that same. So Bill Burr
just has a different animal.
Yeah, the plot points. Ross Noble doesn't write jokes either. He just has a punchline.
Yeah.
And then he just
works into it.
He goes, I'll get there eventually. You know what I mean? He knows where his punchlines
I remember watching like the first Ross Noble. It was like a comedy special, and you're like, "What the fuck is this dude talking about?" And then he gets to this point, like you said, and everybody just loses their fucking mind. It's like it's a weird show of like confusion and laughter.
Yeah, I would hate to be in his head. Hey,
everything happening at once.
All
but
over the place.
Bill Burr he's just I think that F is for Family show that he has sums him up perfectly.
Oh, dude,
he's like this cranky old dad.
He is, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That just sort of
he's calmed down a lot, I think. But yeah, he's
100%.
He's a lot of aggression and Bill. But I like Bill Burr because he really does hold a mirror up to the human condition.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Like, you know, people out there who sort of, you know, are virtual signaling and blah, blah, blah. Bill Burr's like, no, I'm human and I make mistakes and I have dumb thoughts about things. And that's what I really love about his comedy is that I actually find it really personable. Like I can connect to it.
Definitely.
You know, like he's got one about like, you know, and maybe I'm just as crazy as Bill Burr, but he's got a joke about like, you know, drive along the road and you think, oh, I'm just driving along the road and, you know, I'm normal. But if I move my steering wheel this far to the right and they're like, oh my God, the carnage down here, you know, 5 people dead. And I move it back, but I'm just a normal guy. And I can kind of, because sometimes I have those weird thoughts. I just have like, what would happen if I did, you know what I mean? And so I find Bill, like I can really connect with that sort of, controlled insanity, you know?
He is a master of his craft in the sense that he says he hits his limit, I think, every time, but it's definitely not without like outside of the realm what people think.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like,
he's definitely one of those things. He's like, fuck, you can't say that, but I do that.
Yeah, I think that sometimes. You know
what I mean? It's like I think most. I don't know. Like anybody in that sort of bracket, you know, that Bill Burr bracket can 100% relate. And it's just, but fucking hell, he says some shit that you kind of like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I was actually on a date a while ago and I was, you know, and like the lady had actually come to my house and we're talking about comedy and she's like, show me some of your favorite comedians. And I showed her like a few comedians and we got to Bill Burr just because it's like.
Did she get up and leave?
Yeah. No, she didn't get up and leave, but it became very apparent that like this was going to be our last date.
Yeah,
and like it's like I even hadn't done it, but just because like I was laughing at his like we're watching him and I was laughing, kind of think it's funny, and I was
like, you're a pig.
Yeah, pretty much. I looked at her like, oh, she's not laughing. She doesn't find this funny.
Not. She is in her head. She's like, this guy.
Yeah.
Is everything that I've read about.
Yeah, and then
in Woman's Weekly.
And you know, after the comedy, you know, we end up watching something else, and then you know, she's like, anyway, I'm gonna go home now. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Like, you know,
I can see that.
Yeah, so you know, I hope you
have a good one.
Had mostly a good time.
Well, you'll laugh later.
Yeah,
you'll get it. You'll be driving home. You'll laugh later.
And yeah, pretty much haven't heard from her ever since.
Yeah, she's fucking got a website about you now, and she's like, this guy. How do you deal with that? I think, like I said, that line that exists for comedians where it is really on the cusp.
Yeah.
Have you noticed like an increase of people telling you can't say that, or are people taking it in their stride?
Yeah. I have to be careful not to sort of look. I think the increase in people telling communities what they can and can't say is definitely an increase in people doing that.
Yeah.
Do I agree with all of it? Definitely not. Do I agree with look, don't you can't get up on the stage and go, how great is it to bash women? Like that's not cool and that's actually not funny.
Yeah,
you know?
like nobody's gonna
like no one's gonna, and it's just
there's no context.
There's
where
no
they could ever be
context,
funny.
and
Like
but I mean, there's always a context you can make most things funny. I'm not saying you can make that subject funny, but there's always context you can make most things funny. But at the same time, too, I got told off recently at an open mic by an AFP person, someone who works with AFP, because I told drug jokes on stage, and she was like, "You are supporting illegal behavior. Like you're encouraging." And I'm like, "What?" And I was just like, "What?" And like, but she like and. I said she got really angry.
That's
it's just like number one. They're jokes.
It's a joke.
They're jokes, and it's just like But that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm up here like telling you, jokes about like my life, and you sort of you weave in, like there's one thing about this is one people don't understand about comedy, is it's only at best can be inspired by true events.
Yeah,
it's not like because while these people were, because it was a lady and her husband, and she worked for the AFP, and he was like, hey, just because he was pretty good. He was trying to control, like, hey, let's calm down.
Yeah.
But he said to me, he goes, why do you guys like how can we sit here and watch you talk about illegal things? Because anything to do with drugs is technically illegal, right? Sort of thing. And I said, look, mate, do you watch movies?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, I watch movies. I said, do you watch movies with car chases, explosions, spies, anyway? And he goes, yeah, I watch all those movies. He goes, it's the same thing.
Yeah, that's exactly
comedy
right.
is performance art.
It's entertainment.
Yeah, and he goes, oh, so everything you say on stage is just made up. I'm like, we'll go with that,
Yeah, like, what are you going to say?
It's not all made up, but it's all exaggerated and toned back, and it's at best inspired by true events. So look, some of the stuff I talk about on stage, I got heaps of jokes. I got jokes about, like I got one joke where I talk about, going on adultmatchmaker.com, and then getting offers of men. Now that is actually something happened, even though like I'm a heterosexual male and I write that in my profile, and then as the joke progresses, next thing you know, I'm at a guy's house sucking his dick, and that's what I mean. But I say it so you would probably think the whole joke is real.
But it's funny.
Yeah. So people think the whole joke is real. Like I tell the whole joke like it's real.
Yeah.
But at one stage there, I've blurred the lines, and next thing you know,
that's right.
Look, because I've never gone to a guy's house to suck his dick without him paying me. Like, why would I do that? You know what I mean? Like, no. I mean, you go. So I just did it again. I just.
But there's a price. There's a price for everything, really.
Yeah. So
it's like if it's 100 million on the table, you're not gonna.
Oh, dude, 20 bucks is 20 bucks.
Yeah, that's
I'm
right.
not gonna,
a firm handshake and a Coke is a firm handshake and a Coke. Nobody said no to that.
But that's what I mean. So it's like at best it's inspired. So when people do sort of, and I think that's something that's definitely been lost is the art of the joke is definitely still there, but people's understanding of that this is comedy. And look, you got people like Trump in the world and stuff like that who will use their platform to inspire hatred. And then they'll say, oh, I was only joking or something like that. And there have been comedians over the years who tell some really horrific stuff.
Yeah.
It's not really funny, man. And that's actually like pretty dark.
Kramer.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't do too well.
He didn't do too well.
A little too far.
Yeah, he went a bit too far. That's cheap. But people seem to forget that, like they're almost the exceptions to the rule, especially in the art of comedy. They're like the exception. Most people are just up there, just trying to make people laugh, just tell some silly shit.
It's a weird. Like I said, I think if you go to a comedy club or a store or whatever they're doing, a comedy show, and you go in there thinking somebody's going to tell real life, like legitimate 100% stories, and you're going to get a laugh out of it, you're in for a shock.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What? I forgot the dude's name. Something Wilkinson.
Brett
He's
Wilkinson?
he's like the loosest Australian, and he's like a comedian, and he was absurd.
Yeah.
And it was like my girlfriend's very PC, and she was like, "This is not funny," and I was like, "Yeah, it's not funny to us."
Yeah. Oh, look, it's not funny to us.
But the place was packed out.
Place is packed out.
And I was like, you don't want to be that one person going, well, I don't like this. No, well, this is not for me. What you do is you just don't go back.
You know what I mean?
You turn it off. You don't listen to it.
You wait for that. A lot of times, especially though, like unless you're going to see a particular comedian.
Yeah.
Well, number one, if you're going to see a particular comedian, then you've paid to see that comedian.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know why you're
about.
getting offended. But if you're going to, showcase shows, open mics, stuff like that, in particular open mics where comedians are working on like that.
Trying stuff out.
Yeah, trying stuff out. If you don't like a comedian, just wait 5 minutes. He'll be gone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like we
right.
only really get given sort of 5 to 7 minutes. So like everyone gets 5, everyone does 7 kind of thing. It's a lot of time people go. But the point of the story is just hold your breath almost. Go to the toilet. Go grab a drink. By the time you come back, that guy will probably be gone.
It's a crazy thing. It's like I don't know, like not even in context of being on stage or anything. Like I've noticed more. Like I'll be talking to a friend in a public setting, and somebody will be like, "Who, you can't say that," and I'm like, "Who the fuck are you?" And they're like, "I heard what you said."
Yeah,
and I'm like, "Is it rude to be saying what I'm saying, or are you fucking sitting there listening to somebody else's conversation?" I think they get these justice warriors who go to particular events like this, and they listen out for what people are saying.
Yeah.
To feel this sense of fucking importance. I've done some justice today.
I've fought the battle.
I went to a comedy show, and I told the comedian he wasn't funny. Well done, fucking. You really saved the world there.
Look, don't get me wrong, too. If you hear something, and I'll say this to anyone listening, if you hear something that a comedian says that genuinely offends you personally, don't be afraid to go up to that comedian and not tell him he's not funny. Don't say that. Don't go that you're not funny, but go, hey, can we just have a conversation about the what inspired you to do that joke? Can I try and understand?
Yeah.
Can you try and can you try and help me understand why that was funny?
Yeah.
And look, you don't. And look, he's probably not going to convince you. Because if you don't like it, you don't like it, or she won't convince you.
Yeah.
But then you've also in that moment got to a chance to help them explain to them why you didn't find a thing. But if you're going to places and getting offended on other I grew up I'm got Aboriginal descent. My grandmother's Aboriginal stuff, and I remember one time, this is in high school, way before comedy, but me and another student who was also Aboriginal were telling Aboriginal jokes, and we're kind of doing it sarcastically.
Yep.
And look, but we actually got. And we were doing it, literally, you said, just between me and her.
Yeah,
we weren't telling other people. And then a teacher came up and said, "Oh, you can't do that. It's really, really offensive." And it's like, you're getting offended for Aboriginal people.
So it's something nothing to do with you.
It's kind of got nothing to do with you.
That's right.
And we're sort of two Aboriginals having a private conversation.
Yeah.
And that's the bit I like. When people get offended for other people,
it's
like kind of...
It's a thing. I had
you're just trying to prove you're a good person.
I've had Kai on recently, and Kai's transgender. And I
two Kais, there you go.
I brought up this topic with him, and I was like, do you have people who are over helpers?
Yeah.
In terms of they go, they see you guys, like trans people, gay people, whatever, trying to do their thing and get equal rights, and they take it up to 2,000. And he was like, yes.
Yeah.
And he's like, they are the worst fucking people in the world. He's like, what it does is it just creates hostility immediately.
Yeah.
I guarantee you fucking hate it when somebody comes up to you, why the fuck did you say that?
Yeah.
And like, rather than having that conversation or having that chat, you're just immediately like, just fuck off, man. It's like,
I don't mind.
Like your brain just goes, I don't like, why do I have to, you know what I mean? You're immediately on the
you are on the
back.
defense.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I don't mind people coming up and saying, why did you say that?
Yeah.
Because that gives me the chance to go, well, this is why I said it.
Yeah.
Right? What I don't like is people saying, you can't say that. Or what you said is this. Or more, what's even worse is your intention was this.
That's the problem.
And I'm like, hold on. Fucking nothing about me. So it's funny you bring up Chiang Mai, and we're actually on this topic. So about 2 years ago, I told a joke at an open mic that offended one trans person.
Yep.
And part of the reason why I think that this person got offended is because they didn't actually hang around for the punchline of the joke.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So the joke essentially goes about me talking about having sex with men and blah, blah, blah. And then I go on to say, and you'll notice when I say a lot of my jokes about, I say I sleep with people, not women, because I'm a forward-thinking man who doesn't want to assume anyone's gender. Besides, some of them had dicks. It's a great way to tell twins apart. She had big boobs. He was a really nice guy. And then the joke continues, and this is a bit that they took contention with. They say, but I'll be honest, I've got a controversial opinion. I think there's only two genders, big spoon, little spoon, because I don't care if you're gay, straight, what you wear, what we do in the bedroom. All I want to know is, am I getting cuddled at the end of the night?
Yeah, that's right.
Because I want to feel pretty too.
Don't we all?
That's the joke right now. That was the joke in its raw form when it started. So before people start ringing this podcast up and complaining, that was the joke in its raw form. The joke has since adapted because of somehow. But at the time, a trans person, I don't even know they're trans, but someone in the audience got offended. They heard me say the sentence on its own. There's only two genders. And they got up, they stormed out, they went to the manager, they complained, the manager complained to this person.
Shit.
Next thing you know, there is a shitstorm on Facebook next day calling me every name under the sun. And all this. Now, I have adapted the joke because since then I've actually spoken to some trans people. Some of my friends told the joke to trans people. And I got very little helpful. Most people just went, "Oh, you're, whatever." But one says, "Oh, what you're actually doing is you're confusing sexuality with gender."
That's right.
Right. Yeah. Now I've adapted the joke. So I made two since then. But this is why we should be having this conversation. Exactly. So now the joke goes, I think there's only two genders we should focus on. Yeah. Which is the because the person he said there's only two genders. How dare he say there's only two genders when we know? But it's like, one, it's a fucking joke. And two, when I say big spoon, little spoon, the concept is such an absurd concept that like who's cuddling who. That's it.
That's all it is, though.
It's so I get disappointed that you've totally missed the point of it being a joke, and that my concept is now. If I said there's only two genders, man and woman, and this is why, you'd be like, well,
because God,
because God, God's fine. Now you can go, dude, you're a fuckwit. But because I go big spoon, little spoon, you're like, you're an idiot. But it's supposed to be funny. So anyway, I changed the joke to now there's only two genders that matter. And then I'm like, I don't care if you're man, woman, what you wear, or, man, woman, what you wear, or, what you got between your legs. Yeah. All I want to know is. Now, I know I should probably sit there and list off every single gender.
But you'll be there for 3 days.
But I'll be there for 3 days, and it needs to be.
Yeah, that's
right. I need to still have economy of words so I can get my point across. But so I have adapted the joke to make it,
But that's what it comes down to. And I think, as older people and as you grow older, things change incredibly rapidly. Yeah. And there's the source of information. This is what I tried to say to Kai. And I was like, I don't fucking understand things. Yeah. And I was like, it's not me being rigid. Yeah. It's not me going, fuck all, this is how it was when I was younger. Yeah. It's just, we don't know. It's like having access to this information, because it's coming in so quickly, where do we look for it? Yeah. How do we decipher what's right and what's wrong?
I like to think of it as a ripple effect too. And this is something I haven't mentioned, but I think so someone over here in the trans community who's obviously in trans and involved in trans community, they make a decision about some kind of wording or pronouns, whatever. So anyway, what happens there in that pool of people is a stone is dropped into a pond, and the ripple goes out. Yep. And as we all know what the ripple effect is, and so then as that ripple hits people, they're given that new information. Yeah, that's right. What I really take offense to, I really hate, is when that ripple hits you, and someone goes, "Oh, did you know there's it's LGBTQIA now?" It is, and you're like, what the fuck is A for? Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, exactly. And then that person will be like, "You're a fucking idiot. No, what a bigot." Yeah, and that's the bit that I'm like, hold on a second. This is literally the first time I'm hearing this. The ripple's only just hit me. So
this is what I think it comes down to. Exactly what you're saying. There's a transference of information. Yeah. Once again,
probably a better way to put it.
It does come down, we're ignorant in the sense that we don't go out and actively look for it, but it doesn't make you a better person for going out and looking for it and then judging somebody else. I think the worst thing about having this access to information is other people assuming they're smarter than others.
Yeah. Or more clicked on.
But demonizing them for not knowing. Yeah. It's the biggest thing that I fucking hate. I recently did a flat earth one.
Wow.
But the thing was, the guy was nice.
Yeah.
He respected the boundaries of the conversation.
Yeah.
He got his point across. Like the whole idea of this podcast is to let people speak.
Yeah.
Get their point across.
Get their point across, yeah.
And the amount of people like, you're an idiot because you believe the system and the system is this. And every single response is like, how do you know something?
Yeah.
And then instead of teaching it to somebody else, you yell at them for not knowing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's idiotic. And I was like, it's the lowest form of intelligence.
It is.
And I was like, it's like, well, I have this.
Yeah.
I have this beer. You don't have the beer. You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? and it's like, but the thing is, it's such a small percentage of people.
Yeah.
But the problem is they're so fucking loud.
Oh, they are.
They are so they just fucking loud that you can't hear anything else. You hear, you watch anything that happens in America, really. They're like the forefront of fucking what to do, what not to do, and where things are going. And you see these protests where people are they're just trying to make a point, to make a statement like, don't stop fucking doing this. We don't like it. Yeah. And there's one fucking ass hat on the side just fucking screaming and trying to fucking punch everybody. And then that's what it becomes.
They're angry people.
That's but it boils down to they're not fighting for the cause. And this is what I said to Kai. They're not fighting for your cause. They're fighting for themselves.
Yeah.
They didn't get listened to when they were younger.
Yeah.
As a child, they were ignored, and
and this is
mummy and dad didn't let them fucking speak. So now they've attached themselves to these things. And I'm not saying all of these people are doing it. There's just that small fraction of humans that fucking take it too far. They're punching people in the face.
Yeah, they got that extremist sort of mentality.
They're hitting people with things. And you're like, what are you doing?
It's nuts.
And you're the smart one. You're the one who's meant to be educating everybody else.
Of course, they're smarter than me and you know, because we know the truth.
I just do a podcast. What do I do?
I just drive trucks.
Shut up, truck driver.
Yeah, I just drive trucks.
Do you get a lot of hecklers?
Look,
is heckling still a thing, or have people learned their lesson?
Fucking hate hecklers, man. I personally don't get a lot of hecklers. I do get some. I'm probably not as good at dealing with hecklers, and I think it's because I don't get heckled.
Yeah,
I think the reason why I don't get heckled is I have a very big on-stage presence. I'm a very big presence on stage. I got a big voice. People kind of tend to shut up when I'm doing my thing.
Yeah,
but I still get heckled occasionally because no matter how good you are. But yeah, it's hecklers are the worst. Hey, just don't heckle. But they're still around, and it's almost like what you're talking about too. These are the people that want to attach themselves to a cause, and they want to make it about them, as you said, because they weren't listened to, or for whatever reason. It's like you're making this show about you. Like you were that much of an egomaniac.
Yeah, give me some attention.
You were like, give me some attention. Why are you not giving me attention?
Why is this guy on stage? With fucking lights
and a microphone.
Where are my lights?
And why is he not talking to me directly and making me directly part of the show? Why? Because you weren't there in the writing process.
That's right.
Like I always love. I've never sat there while writing a joke going, oh God, I hope some loudmouth fuckwit just yells out right here because I can't think of a funny punchline.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like insert, please, like on my little set.
Insert fuckwit.
Yeah, please heckle me now. Like, hold on. Yeah.
Come on. I need this.
But look, some comedians love it, thrive on it.
Yeah.
I personally don't, and they can really ruin a night just for everyone around.
I think it's just ruining the vibe, right?
Yeah.
It's like as soon as I don't know. I compare it to sports. I always compare these people to the fat fuck sitting on the lounge yelling at a pro sports player.
Yeah, we won the game.
It's like, that's like, kick it. You should have kicked it. I would have kicked it. And you wouldn't have because you're a fat fuck sitting on the lounge. Like you didn't do anything. You don't understand what he's going through, the pressures and stuff. And that's them. You're that kind of person. If you go to a comedy club and you think you're funnier than the dude on stage, or you're going to try and fucking outdo the dude with a microphone by saying something fucking obnoxious. You're not. You're just you're going to fall on your ass and die.
I went to a comedy show. We were going this back in the day, and I was actually working for this guy back when I was doing Bitchman Tankers. Yeah. We went and saw Dave Straussman. Yeah. So Straussman came to Hillsville, right, which is like a small country town, big fucking event. And no way to lie, the fuckhead bought his own puppet. He had this little possum puppet that he had in his jacket. And he's like, oh, Kai. And because you he knows to do comedy, and he's like, oh, fuck, he better not talk to me because I'll bring this little guy out, And I'm like,
what a psycho.
I didn't say anything because he's my boss and he was paying my bills, but I was just like, he was like, you are the biggest fucking wanker.
It goes Ted Bundy and then you like, fucking psycho.
This is Dave Strassman who's like been doing ventriloquism. Like he's been doing this forever, man. I used to watch this guy on Hey.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean? Like this guy's around and you think you're going to outclass him with your little fucking sock puppet.
Like, imagine if they kicked off. Imagine that. It's like, and we're going to talk to somebody from the crowd now. And he's like, man. So you're like, what the fuck?
Like, part of me secretly wanted it to happen, but the other part is like,
I'm sitting next to him and I don't want to be.
What a fuckwit. Like, who the fuck?
There has to be something missing in your brain.
The amount of ego that it fucking takes to think you could, like, bat it out with fucking Dave Strassman.
I don't understand like the thought process behind it.
No.
Like he's sitting at home, he's stitching this thing together and he's like, I'm going to fucking show this guy. And this is like weeks out. He's like, I got the tickets months ago. This is my time to fucking shine, man. He's like, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make my own puppet. I'm going to out-puppet this dude who's been doing it for years. I reckon I could pick it up in 3 weeks, man. I reckon I've got this. And he's fucking stitching away. And he's like, I'm going to fucking show him. He's like, you better not say something. And he's going through the whole fucking routine in his head. He's like, he's going to tell a joke and I'm going to say something. Hopefully he notices. So he's just sitting in the crowd and like Dave's up there telling his jokes. He's like, what the fuck is that noise? It's some psycho with a fucking sock puppet in his coat. He's like, yeah. How do you explain that to anybody? What if he picked up a girl that night, right? He's going home. He's getting his kid off. Yeah. He takes his shirt off and this fucking sock puppet falls out. She's like, what is that? He's like, you don't want to know. I'm dangerous, baby.
Yeah. He's going to take me to the top.
I was going to take Dave Strassman down tonight. He's lucky. He wrote a whole fucking blog about it on Twitter. You fucking really showed him. Wonder what he's doing now.
Oh, that guy.
Skinning people in his basement.
Probably. Their company went under in the end.
100% skinning people. He's living with his mum. He's rented out a basement. And now he's just down there making beef jerky with people's skin. The fucking psycho. Jesus Christ.
It puts the cinnamon on its skin.
Yeah.
It's just like...
It's so stupid. Oh my God. Man, stop. I think... Fucking stop.
Yeah, just stop. Hecklers, just fucking stop, man.
Just stop. Go and appreciate some art. And that's what it is, I think. It's like, it's fucking art. Yeah. Go there and watch somebody pull something out of nothing and make you laugh.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's it. That's all you got to do, man.
And you just got to sit there, appreciate it.
All you got to do.
Laugh and just have a good time. Like, that's it. It really should be that simple of a transaction. Just go there, have a few drinks, and because comedians love it. We love when people laugh.
Yeah,
like that's what we're there for.
That's right.
So and it would be such a brilliant transaction. But now people are, like I said, people are heckling or virtue signaling, and it's kind of I'm still a psychopath. I still go no matter how much.
Yeah, fuck it, man. It's you can't stop now.
I can't. Look, I'm. Yeah, like an addict. Like I've actually quit comedy like 3 times in my life.
Oh yeah,
and I even took two years off once.
Yeah, right.
But just something about it. Sucks, and then I'll be sitting in my truck and I'll think of a joke and I'm like, oh,
that would kill.
Oh God, yeah, that would kill. Oh, and then next thing you know, I'm signed up for the next open mic and I'm standing there like, I'm gonna make people laugh again. That's right. Because I'm fucking nuts too.
Yeah. I think you kind of had to be. I think there's a hook in, man.
These, man.
Yeah, get in. These. Watch out for the ball things. They're a little hard, but they're it'll get you going. These are our new things. We're doing chocolate covered strawberries, and I think
these are good.
Like, who fucking doesn't love a chocolate covered strawberry? Hitler. He probably did. No, you know what? He probably would have liked them too. Sick fuck. Yeah, I think there's that thing where it's like, there's something, I don't know, I think it was like any sort of like entertaining, some performing art type things. You have to be a little sick.
Oh,
there's a part of you that has to go, I had to really put aside my ego.
Yeah.
I had to leave all of that shit at home and then just go deliver something that it's either going to work or it's just going to fucking blow up in my face.
Yeah.
Do you feel that?
Yeah, definitely. Especially when you're trying new material.
Yeah.
You know, I tried a new bit. I tried this really. So when I try new jokes out, sometimes I'm like, I'm trying out a new joke, but I can squeeze it in with other jokes. But I had this whole like concept of I built up my brain, and it was like a 5-minute performance piece almost. Yeah. So once I started the bit, I was committed to it. I couldn't stop that bit. So I was like, you said like, oh my God, I'm going to go out there and it's either going to fail fucking horribly.
It's going to fucking crush.
And it's going to crush. And thankfully, I won't say it crushed, but it definitely hit the mark. It definitely was a very good starting point if I want to progress that bit. But yeah, I had not been that nervous for like years, and I was like full like backstage, oh no, what the fuck? like oh, I didn't go to the toilet again. Like that was kind of the thing. And then I got out there and did, but it was like a full performance bit, so it was like 5 minutes long, and it was just like one non-stop joke.
That's sick.
Where I was like playing a character.
Do you still get nervous now?
Look, if you're not getting nervous,
there's something wrong.
You're something wrong. I don't get anywhere near as nervous, and I cover my nerves up. If I'm trying a new bit like that, even in an open mic, I was actually quite nervous, which is it was a strange feeling to be that nervous again. Like I haven't been that nervous in a while.
Yeah.
For big shows, I still get pretty nervous.
What's the biggest crowd you played to?
The biggest crowd I've played to is probably 500-600 people.
I think like
the average crowd I play to is probably like 10. Which is why those big ones are so daunting, because you're used to playing.
It's a different vibe though, right? Yeah. I think like playing those small, intimate type things, I think you need to be a little sharper, right? Like I think
it's actually harder.
I think 500 people can kind of carry over.
Yeah.
Like even if you don't find the joke funny or whatever, it might not like tickle your pickle. You look at the dude next to you and he's pissing himself. Yeah. You're gonna laugh too.
I love big crowds because that exactly what you said, that exact dynamic. Yeah. You know, it doesn't matter, if your joke only hits, 2 out of 10 people and you've got only 10 people in the room, only 2 people are gonna laugh.
That's right.
But if you've got 500,
you can hear that.
Yeah. But you've got 500 people in the room, 100 people laughing, even at 500 still sounds fucking awesome. So you're like, yeah, man, that joke works. Like,
that's sick.
So I love the big crowds for that. But as you said, I like little intimate rooms because you've got to be a bit sharper. You kind of got to work out a little bit. So if you do make it work, you almost feel sort of justified a little bit more. Like
you have to change and adjust through crowd size. So it's like with Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is like one of those like stadium people. And I think he's got that to like a T where it's he knows how to make a stadium laugh. And then I watched his home show. It was like a stadium show in his home. And you kind of like it's funny. It's Kevin Hart. Like the dude, he does what he's
a hard worker.
Does what he does, right? But it wasn't stadium funny. You know what I mean?
I don't think you got to change it too much. Maybe you do. I think just spacing. I mean, I wouldn't change too much of my act for a big. Like I did the WAWDH theatre just recently, the Civic Theatre, and look, due to COVID restrictions, they only had about 150 people in there. That's right. And I didn't change a single word from the open mic I'd done 2 weeks earlier to like 30 people.
Yeah.
But the only thing that did change is that the open mic, the lighting's different. You can actually see the audience.
Yeah.
In stadiums like I couldn't see anyone, man.
So
like just big lights, so you can only hear it. But the only thing I really changed is just I slightly altered my demeanor and I just walked out. And the trick with comedy too is you want to eliminate the space between you and the audience as much as possible. Yeah. So I literally just walked straight to the very edge of the stage, planted my feet, and didn't move from that spot.
Yeah, this is me.
And this is where, actually, no, I mean, it wasn't quite the edge, but they had things. But I stood as far forward as I possibly could to try to bridge that gap, and just planted my feet, and just I just made sure I was constantly scanning the room. I couldn't see anyone, but to them it looked like I was looking at them. But I'm constantly moving my upper body, trying to engage the whole room into the one space. Whereas a small room, you kind of look straight ahead.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're doing okay.
It'd be hard though. I think like for if you're very new to it, it'd be like the deer in the headlights type thing because you can't fucking see out.
No, you can't.
You can't see. You can maybe see the first row. Or whatever.
Yeah. You can just see silhouettes after that.
Yeah, and anything beyond that is just moving.
So in that aspect, you need to be confident in yourself.
That's what it is, right?
You're like, with a small room, you can kind of read the crowd.
Yeah.
Which in a way, it's really bad because it doesn't matter how, like, you get a small room, you can see the crowd, and you'll see that one person who's not laughing.
Yeah,
and that's,
like, that's right.
Fuck. So the big audiences, like, it doesn't matter if you like,
fuck.
You can't see, so you're not getting sort of that negative. So I did Deadly Funny at the Forum Theatre, which is where I did sort of 500-600 people, and my mum is like, you can't make my mum laugh. My mum is just stone cold, like stone hard at people, and so I went out and so a guy had gone on before me. So he'd come back and he's like, "Oh man," they responded really well because there's one lady, and I just couldn't make this woman break. Yeah. I guess couldn't make this woman break, and holy crap, it actually threw him off his act, right?
Yeah.
And I went out 2 acts after him.
Yeah.
And just sitting to the left of me, front row, is my mother.
Oh, Mama Bear.
Now I made my mum in my 4-5 minutes on stage. I made my mum smile twice.
Yeah, that's it.
I got 3 applause breaks in that set. And my mum only smiled twice. And when I got back to her, I said, "Hey, you know that lady, like, you couldn't make crackers?" I said, "Was she sitting like this?" And I said, "Yes, don't worry about this, my mum."
Yeah.
I can't even make my mum laugh. Don't feel bad.
Making her laugh.
Don't feel bad.
Yeah, making her laugh.
And he was like, "I feel so much better," because it actually really sort of like demoralized him. She broke him.
It's a weird fucking human thing that we have, right? It's I always so it's like me running a business, like just anything. I always explain it to people like this. I was like, you go to a restaurant 100 times, you always remember that one bad one.
Yeah, exactly.
If that 100 times is placed out in front of you, that's all you'll fucking see.
Yeah.
I remember even being on stage in a band.
Yeah.
You would have like 100 people, 200, whatever people in front of you, right? And you'd see one guy in the back just like this.
Yeah, just doing that.
Like, what are you doing? Give me some love. No, nothing.
It is, it's that one person.
It'll fucking drive you crazy, and you would not. Like I said, you wouldn't be able to see anything but them. For some reason, there's a fucking light above them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's nobody around them at all. Like the whole place could be packed, and there's just one fucking person by themselves. And you're like, what are you doing?
It's like they're glowing.
What are you fucking doing back there, man? Have some fun.
Yeah. Yeah, like aliens could land like on the other side of the room.
The planet could fucking blow up.
And you're like, just do it. Just give me some kind of emotion.
I remember so many times just going out. Like, I'd always get nervous before going on as well. Like, even doing this shit. Like, I get nervous, like meeting people new. I do little prep for this because I think it keeps it a little bit freer. I get fucking nervous. And I think it's like as soon as you get on, as soon as the ball starts rolling, you go, yeah, this is all right. This is okay. You get one song in. You notice everybody in front of you. 2 songs, you look up the back. And then you're like, fuck, I got 30 minutes, brother. I stuck up here and all I could fucking see is you. Just give me a foot tap.
Anything, give me something. Give a cough. Like anything. And
just blink. Fucking anything, man. But it hangs on people, right? It's a crazy thing that our brain does.
You always focus on the negative, like
every single time.
So that's why the big rooms are good because you can't see anyone. So it's like,
everybody's laughing.
Everyone's laughing.
Everyone's having a good time.
There's no negative faces in that audience.
Yeah,
and then because I'll have like Boardwalk too, like where I do quite a bit of open mic work. There's actually a couple that goes down there. The lesbian couple, and there's like one of the women who like loves comedy, and she laughs at everything you do, and then her partner, who you can tell is only there because she loves her partner, but she just sits there like I'm saying with that steely face, like, and I
let's wrap this up.
And so I had this one joke, where I was just like I'd done this all bit, and I was like, oh guys, I got this joke I want to tell, but I'm not sure like if I should tell it, and like I'm saying, but like if the audience wants me to, because I've done my time, but if the audience wants me to tell this joke, I'll tell this joke. Right? Yeah, and the whole audience is like, yeah. But I looked at the lesbian woman, the one who doesn't like, and I had to, and she eventually just gave me a little nod, and I was like, okay, finally, like you're actually the one person. Like,
that's all I needed. That's all I needed.
I got your nod of approval, and so I did the joke, and sort of everyone had a laugh and.
It's that weird acknowledgement, man. It's And I think it's one of those things as well. It doesn't just stay with you while you're doing the show.
Yeah.
A week later.
Yeah,
the next
sure.
show. A year later, you're like, they're the fucking one guy, man.
Especially if you go back to the same venue.
And like, I've written this song and it fucking slaps. Like, it's beautiful. Why did he fucking do anything? And it just it lingers for so goddamn long. God, you people out there, you do it on purpose, I bet you. He's like, I'm not going to laugh.
I'm going to start doing it now. I'm just going to go to other people's venues and just staring at them.
So give him one clap.
Yep.
That'd fuck me up. That'd just fucking destroying everybody out there.
Oh, it would.
One comedian at a time. What shows do you have coming up? What is the what's the agenda been?
Okay, yeah. It's actually a really good time you had me on the show, and thank you for having me on the show. Yeah, so look, 27th of March, I'm doing my debut solo hour in Canberra down the Boardwalk Bar, which I've just mentioned.
Yeah.
And then I'm taking that show to Melbourne for the Comedy Festival.
What's it like doing an hour, man? Like, what is the...
it's hard.
What's the run-up to an hour?
How do you mean? As in
terms of like... So, what are your typical sets? Like you said, you get 5...
It's sort of 5 to 10 minutes is your set.
How do you... Times that by 6.
Times that by 6. Look... To do 5 minutes is actually harder than to do. Maybe not so harder than do an hour, but harder to do 15. Because you got such a short amount of time to win the audience over, keep them there, blah blah. Yeah. Where you're 15, you can play, you can lose the audience, you can bring them back.
Yeah. Whatever. Okay.
So look, the way I sell my show, and I guess it's probably the easiest way to describe how to do sort of the hour is that, I've been doing comedy for 10 years.
Yeah.
And every year I've written at least 5 minutes worth of good jokes. So this is like the culmination.
This is all of it.
This is all those jokes.
Nothing but the good stuff.
Nothing but the good stuff. So yeah, essentially I've decided to release a greatest hits, even though I've never had a first album kind of thing.
Best way to do it, man. Just fucking skip all that bullshit.
Yeah, just skip all the bullshit. So to write an hour is you just... so my hour is like I've tried hours in the past.
Yeah.
The reason why I call this one my debut solo hour is because it is just me doing my best jokes, and they literally are just me doing jokes.
Yeah.
Whereas the 2 attempts I've made an hour in the past, I was actually trying to tell a story. One
was
about a particular time in my life.
Yeah.
And both times they fell apart.
Just didn't hit.
It didn't hit. They were personal journeys, so I was too emotionally attached to them at the time. One of them was really like it was about my divorce and all that, so it was like really personal, and it was just too soon.
It's hard to be funny when you're sad.
Yeah, it was hard to find when you're crying on stage and
where's she gone? Come back.
And so it was
didn't Robin? What's his name? Robin Thicke.
Yeah.
Remember that singer, and he's like gone through a divorce, and he's like, I'm going to write an album about it, and it fucking bombed.
Yeah. It's too personal.
Yeah, it's entertainment, brother. You can't. It's as much as you put your heart and your soul into this shit. You can't put all of it. You can't put all of it. You just got to pepper it in there a little bit.
Yeah, it can be. As I said, it should be inspired by true events, not be true events. Yeah. And then I was like crying and angrily masturbating.
Yeah, that's it. Daisy should see it. It's all red, and I couldn't stop, and nobody told me why I couldn't stop. My hands hurt. Where's my hands hurt? So. What is she doing? Where is she gone?
Pretty much. That was kind of my thought process for the next 6 months. So I just literally got all my jokes and I just wrote a list and then I kind of
greatest hits.
Arranged them in topic order and then tried to write a couple of segues. And you know what? I mean, people always say with comedy, it has a good segue. No, I literally I'll get to an end of a bit and I'll be like, anyway...
Next joke.
Next. But it's I think it's something you should almost expect from a comedian. Like it doesn't have to. Like don't get me wrong, I've got lots of flowing stuff that does flow into the next. I got stuff about about the divorce. I did keep some of that because some of it was actually slightly funny. So I've kept that in the show. And I go from the divorce into truck driving into getting a vasectomy and then back to truck driving. And I have managed to make quite a good portion of it flow.
What a weird segue. So what's a drive a truck? A vasectomy. Now I'm driving trucks again. And everyone's like, hi.
To give you, I don't want to ruin my show, but I...
Give us a taste.
I got So how I get that is I actually got a testicular infection from driving a truck, right? So I had to go to the hospital. I had to go to the hospital and get it checked out. And the doctor, he thought that so I had to get what is it? I had to get an ultrasound of my testicles. They thought I might have had like a hernia or something like that. Yeah. And those things are uncomfortable, aren't they? Like that gel is so cold.
It's so fucking cold.
It's so cold. They're like, when that gel touched my,
so cold.
when that gel. So the thing about being a man, the thing about being a man in an awkward scenario, because the person giving the ultrasound was a female, is I was afraid I might accidentally get an erection, and she thought I was a psychopath. Yeah. But when that gel touched my balls, they sucked back into my body so quickly that my ultrasound was more like an internal examination.
We're gonna have to put this in you.
Yeah. Okay. Forget turn your head and cough. My instructions were to breathe and push.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, so anyway, but the doctors, and this is you see in the show, is that they actually thought it was caused by my vasectomy as a flow-on effect. I had a vasectomy a few years earlier. Yeah. And then it actually turns out it wasn't. It's actually caused by the vibration of the truck for 10 hours a day had essentially given me RSI of the nut. So that's how I go from that to that to that. But then I kind of like, as I'm doing it, I branch off to different truck stories.
How do you explain that to anybody?
Well, you tell jokes about it.
All right, so it's like if you have a partner, right, and you're like, there's something up with my body. She's like, you're fucking around. You're like, no, it's just the vibrations of the truck. I swear. She's like, get the fuck out. You're like, but the truck. But it's the truck.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't have an STD. The truck is just really hard.
It's the truck. It's vibrating on my nuts. She's like, what's vibrating on your nuts?
I thought you didn't like that.
That's right.
So that's how you get those segues.
But boys, go get your balls checked, by the way. It is cold.
It is cold.
Fuck, it is cold. I had a dude and he was very comfortable with it, which made me comfortable with it.
Well, that's good.
It's like, it's one of those situations. It's like, where do I look?
Yeah.
What do I do with my hands?
Do we maintain eye contact?
I was like trying to make small talk because like when I become uncomfortable, I just like, do you know what will help this? Talking. How's your day been? And he's like,
I play with balls.
I'm playing with your nuts, dude. He's like, just let me do it. Oh, okay, that's cool. Been doing this for long. You know when you get in like a cab?
Yeah.
How's your night been? It's like, how's your day been? He's like, fuck, dude, come on. It's the same thing every day. It's your nuts. This guy's nuts. I occasionally check my nuts just to make sure they're fine. I put this cold gel everywhere. Why is it so cold? Yeah,
it's bloody cold.
Yeah, but get them checked.
Get them checked. So that's so
we can't get in trouble now for talking about balls because we're being
health conscious.
We've been very health conscious. Go get your balls checked, boys.
Check for abnormalities, different size. You know, as Jimmy Carr always says that, you know, you got to check on your boys and make sure that, you know, one nut is the same size as the other two. That's got to do that.
Got to make sure.
Got to make sure.
It's not hard. It's not rocket science.
But yeah, so that's how I think. So I've just slapped essentially all my greatest hits together into sort of a 1 hour show. I've tried to make it flow as much as possible. Yeah, there's a few points where it's just like, okay, topic change. But for the most part, I think I was successful in keeping it all together. And that's just sort of, and how do you perform it? Like I've done it once before, this actual show, because this was supposed to be my Melbourne 2020 show, but COVID, killed everything. So I did it, back in 19, here in Canberra. But even if you've seen the show, it's been that long, you would have forgotten, come see it again.
We're all gone.
And it takes a lot of energy. It does take a lot of energy, and sort of I'll make sure that I've been sober for a few days beforehand. Like, you've got to make sure you're on the ball. I'm doing 2 shows in one night.
Fucking goddamn.
Yeah, and I was talking to my manager kind of about it, and I'm like, how the hell am I going to do 2 shows in one night?
I've always wondered that. Like, you hear...
Fucking just do it.
Like, I think Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, they're the only people I watch. So obviously Dave Chappelle doesn't need to do it, neither does Kevin Hart. But Bill Burr does do it.
Yeah.
I've always wondered, it's like I said, the only thing I can relate it to is music. It's like, play this show.
Yeah.
Wait a little bit and then go play the exact same show.
Yeah.
How do you keep up the energy, man? How do you just keep that? Or do you just feed off the people that are there?
I think that is definitely the biggest thing, is feeding off the audience. So you got your own. I think that's one thing that makes me, without blowing my own horn too much, what makes me a good comedian is I actually have naturally got a good energy to give to the audience. But it is very much a give and take. So I can give energy, but if I get nothing back, I deplete very quickly.
Yeah.
But if I get something back, I can maintain that for quite a good amount of time.
Forever.
So I've done it for an hour. I've never done 2 shows a night. I've seen actually that night with Strassman. He did that. And I was just saying, like, how the hell do you do 2 shows?
Fucking crazy.
So
man.
I'm just really going to hope that, I can feed off the audience. I did a gig in Sydney a little while back, and I was only doing the headline set, and it was like 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And they did that. I did my 15. They shut it down, brought in a new audience, and then we went again like an hour later. And I have to admit that, this is why I've kind of am going to try and do this, because the second audience was actually better than the first audience, because audiences can be shit. And I actually gave a much better set the second time, because I was getting more from them. I'm just gonna hope that the audience will be with me, and if the audience is with me,
you're all good.
And I'll have a coffee. I'll have a coffee in between sets too. I think
it's a crazy lifestyle. And I think it's one of those things. Nobody thinks it's a job, you know. Like everyone thinks you just go up there and you just said some things for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You're like, no, there's like thought, but I think it's that amount of energy that's involved.
Yeah,
it's very like, maybe not physically demanding, but mentally and emotionally demanding. Like that'd be fucking draining, man.
Especially like if you're having a bad day.
Oh yeah,
you've got like, if I'm having a really bad day, I can pull out of some gigs, because I mean, if you just don't have it, you don't have it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're getting paid to be there.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's like any job. It's like you go to work. You can't afford to have a shitty day.
Yeah, that's right.
And so those are
trying to deliver happiness to somebody.
And then you got to get up, and you know your life can be falling apart, and you've still got to put on a happy face and and dance like a monkey.
Yeah, that's right.
And look, you know,
we're paying.
Yeah. It's like any job.
Make me laugh.
You bring it to the table when you need to.
What are your next moves, man? Like, what's that guy? Jim Jeffries.
Yeah.
Do a gym. Just pack up, go to the States.
Oh, look, I got
start telling jokes. Maybe you should.
I got a 15-year-old daughter. Yeah. And I've always told myself when she's 18, I'll probably pack up and spend 6 months to a year over in the UK.
It's such a
try the Jim Jeffries method.
Not to shit on Australia, but even with bands and stuff, it's the exact same thing, man. People are kind of appreciate you here, but over there, like even when we went over, like you're a rock star. Immediately, you're on stage, you're hitting.
Yeah,
you're a fucking rock star.
Yeah.
But I think what it does is it just enables you go, well, fuck, that hit.
Yeah.
And that hit way harder than
I thought, yeah.
And then you go, well, I'm going to write something better.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put a little bit more attention into it. And then you go, there's fucking like 52 other states that are like this that I can just go and fucking crush it everywhere. And you're never going to run into the same person.
I think, that's definitely the biggest thing.
Like, because even here, when we were playing shows, it's like, you go here, you go to Sydney, Melbourne or whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of see the same faces.
Yeah, you do. You see the same faces.
And nothing wrong with that. They're honestly the best people who come to your show more than once.
You got to love them.
You're really carrying the team.
Yeah, you really carrying the team.
You're carrying the fucking team.
And look, it's a double-edged sword. The good thing about the bad thing about Canberra comedy, or like I said, Australian comedy, is that it's you see the same faces. Yeah. But it does make you work harder to produce. You don't get lazy. You know what I mean? It does make you work harder to try. I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of other comedians would probably accuse me of being a lazy writer because I do a lot of.
Like who?
Huh? Oh no, I'm not. No. Just because I do a lot of the same stuff.
Dave Hughes.
Yeah, but I like to think too that I'm percolating and distilling my jokes down to a fine point.
Yeah, that's
so. But Yeah, but here you do have to kind of, because the same audiences, the same faces, they get bored of you rather easily. So you need to try and work on new material more frequently than not.
Yeah.
But the downside is that is you can't go to the UK unless they become an overnight success and sort of
it's a weird thing.
Even though even though you're not massive over there, by comparison, you're still playing to 1,000 people every night because they've got the population to sustain that kind of thing where we don't have that in Australia.
And they really search for entertainment there. Australia's it's a funny place. It's once again, they appreciate the arts side of it, I think. But I think there's like people just want to chill here.
Yeah.
And not necessarily not go or it's too cold.
It's too hot, it's too cold.
So they don't necessarily want to go out and do like, I'm going to spend. But like people actively search for it over there.
Yeah.
Rain, hail, shine, doesn't fucking matter.
It's only rain, hail.
Yeah.
Rain, hail
I went to the UK and everybody told me that it's going to piss down the whole time.
Yeah.
Perfect weather the whole way.
Yeah.
Scotland, perfect weather.
There you go. I've never been.
Ireland, perfect weather. And they're like, this is freak weather here.
Yeah.
And we're like, no, apparently. And I was like, I'll take it.
So I've never been. I've been to the US. I went to New York for once, but it's pretty good weather over there. But I mean, that's always my theory. Actually, that's why the Brits were so good at conquering people because they were just trying to escape the weather.
They're just trying to get the fuck out of there, man.
Fuck, this place sucks.
It's to be fair, I think that was Edinburgh. We had like 3 or 4 days of shitty weather, but it was just overcast. But you can see why it's like. You can see why they drink so much. I remember like Ireland got me. Ireland, I've been to many places.
Yeah.
And I drank with a lot of people. I've never drank so hard ever than I did. It was me, my partner, and these 2 Irish ladies that were probably about 50.
Yeah, yeah.
And they drank me out of the table.
Oh, they would have,
so fucking quick. The sun was still up.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
I was so broken. I got into the cab. So they got the black cabs over there. They don't like Ireland doesn't allow Uber.
Yeah.
So you have to get a black cab.
Yeah, yeah.
I threw up in the black cab all over myself.
Oh, wow.
Right. So it got to the point the guy, we gave him like £100, I think it was. We threw money at him. I remember that. I remember like having vomit in my hands.
Yeah.
And then I remember walking down the street just fucking in my undies in the middle of Belfast.
That's drunk. That's fucking.
And these 2 old ladies were fine.
Yeah, yeah. They're like,
were.
Look at that Australian soft cock.
Look at this idiot. Because I just want a beer, and I was like,
yeah,
let's do it. Let's have some beer.
They try to.
And then it's just like every like 30 seconds, and
you're like, keep them coming.
But it's like you're not going to get out drunk by an old lady. So I was like, fuck this.
No, you're only going to get out drunk by an old lady.
But then I got outdrank so quickly.
Yeah. Actually, I went to Thailand and
Thailand's sick.
We went to.
Do you like Thailand?
To be honest, I hated Bangkok. I liked Chiang Mai.
Yeah, I went to
Phuket. I could take
Phuket.
It
was alright.
Yeah, that's Phuket. I could kind of take it or leave it. But where did we end up? Was it Chiang Mai or Phuket? I think it might have been Phuket. But I actually met one of my cousins over there, and I was with my now ex-wife kind of thing. This is before we got married. But so we all went to this pub. And my cousin brought her friend. She was only drinking bottled beers and stuff because she's smart.
That's genius.
And we were all drinking. I was drinking cocktails and stuff. And I found out after the fact.
What have you got with water in it?
Yeah, yeah. I found out after the fact though that a lot of time, like, look, and I'm perpetuating stereotype, but they'll actually like put methyl and stuff in their alcohol to make it more potent. But it was funny you say that because I actually got into a bit of a drinking competition with the publican, which is old Thai lady, right? So me and her like go and drink for drink.
Yeah.
And my cousin ended up so paralytic, like that they were like actually she was like sweating. She was like really ill. And then my partner, she ended up like the next day she didn't move from the bath in the hotel room. And I was fine. But it was really funny because like we're drinking. I'm like, I was drinking Mai Tais or something.
Yeah,
like, give me another one. And it got to the point where like they started to try and shortchange me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty hammered, but I'm like, no. I know what you're doing. Give me. And you can almost see them looking at each other going, holy shit, this is Australia.
Thailand. I don't give a shit what people say about Thailand. When I went over there, I had the best time of my life.
Yeah?
It was me, my partner, and her parents.
Oh, wow.
And that's
Yeah.
That's one of those trips where you're like, you should not have liked it.
Yeah, you
that
shouldn't
much.
have a good time. No.
I had a blast. You can buy beer
Yeah.
on the street. I'm happy.
I have to admit, I was popping down to the 7-Eleven downstairs and getting $2 Smirnoff Blacks.
Yes.
I was like, how
look at the Guarana ones.
like,
but the thing is, like, all right, they also like donate food from street vendors.
Yeah.
Fuck that, I did that. That was the best food you'll ever have in your life.
I'm pretty sure at one stage I was eating cat.
Oh, 100%. And it is fucking delicious.
But yeah, I went back. Like, this guy was like serving these like satay skewers. Yeah. And they were like...
Wait, were they the flat ones? Like the kind of like on a batter pop stick?
Yeah, right? But I went back. And I'm like, look, I don't even want to know what kind of meat this is, but dude, it is fucking luscious. And they were like, it was like $50 for like 4 of them.
It's fucking insane. And they give it to you in a plastic bag, and you're like, what the fuck is the plastic bag for? Just hand it to me.
Yeah.
So I went to this like the street vendor in the markets, right? And I was fucked by this stage. We all went out for dinner. I've been drinking all day in the sun.
Yeah.
I'm incredibly white. I burn so very easy, and that just amplifies whatever the fuck you drink. And I was drinking like the big beers, right?
Yeah.
We go out for dinner, and by this stage, I was I was busted. I was all busted up. Ate dinner, kept drinking, went back out onto the street, kept drinking, and then found this weird paddle pop stick food. All right, so I bought it. I ate it.
Yeah.
I didn't think anything of it. I went about my day. So the next day, they pulled that out of a plastic bag that was just hanging off, off the thing. And I was like, okay. And they're like, it wasn't refrigerated.
Yeah.
Like, it was just fucking hanging there. And I was like, well, I'm not sick.
I'm not sick. I'm fine.
I feel like it. I don't think I got sick once over there. I think there was one time I did where I bought Italian food.
Yeah. I had.
It's just not Italian at all. It's like a microwave pizza.
I didn't get sick as such, but I did have like barley belly the whole time I was there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I mean, I got sensitive stomach naturally anyway.
Oh, right.
So,
yeah,
but I mean, I wasn't ill. Like, I wasn't sick. I just kind of always kind of had like a mild upset to my stomach. But I just found if I drank more,
just drank it away.
Yeah, just kind of went away.
You just wake up. Yeah. Like, there's no time there either. So you just kind of wake up at like,
I go, whatever.
Like 2 in the afternoon. You're like, I'm just going to go get a beer.
Yeah, I was going to get a beer, go drink.
On the street.
Yeah, just pop. It was like 9 o'clock in the morning and I'm like popping down to 7-Eleven, grabbing like.
That's so good.
Just grab some smoke. They were $2 each.
It's so good. Whoever talks shit about Thailand, you clearly either you haven't been or the smell offends you. I think the smell gets everybody.
Bangkok.
Bangkok's probably a different story. Apparently, Bangkok's
holy crap,
a lot worse.
It was like I didn't enjoy it. So I spent a week in total in Bangkok, and yeah, the smell. So I can't remember.
Even Phuket smells bad, man.
I can't remember where we were at first, but then the second stint in Bangkok, I was actually in Chinatown, Bangkok kind of thing, and the smell was horrendous. Like, it was probably like, I'm a garbo, bro. The smell that comes out of the back of my truck is nothing.
Horrible, right?
It's horrible, but it was nothing compared.
It's something to do with I think the plumbing over there, the water.
Oh crap!
Because you know when you walk down like Phuket or whatever, and they've got all those water drains covered.
It was
It's because there's nothing but dead
Bangkok
things down
was
there.
just
The
smell was
death and regret.
Just horrendous. Like, Chiang Mai, I absolutely had a fantastic time in Chiang Mai, which is up near the top.
Yeah.
And that's when it's like rainforest.
That's a nice place, right? It's in Bali how they've got the beach part and the foresty part.
Yeah, so that's the foresty part. So we actually did whitewater rafting on the Siam River, and zip lining through the rainforest and stuff, and checking out monkeys in their natural habitat. So that was really cool. But yeah, Bangkok. Oh God, the smell was.
I appreciate any place that is like the Wild West.
Yeah,
it's utter chaos, but somehow it just works.
Yeah,
you know when you first get into like a taxi, you get out of the airport, you go to, you get in the taxi, and then they start driving you to wherever you need to go, and you're like, where are the road rules?
Yeah. Oh man,
like, are you gonna stop? Is anybody going to stop? What the fuck is this bike doing on the footpath? And why does it have 6 kids on it? Like, what are you doing? And nobody gives a shit. And you're like, how is this normal?
It was a 4-lane highway that had 5 cars wide. Like, it was crazy. And we're like, I'm not joking, man. We were going so fast that, like, my partner.
It's fucking insane.
She was sitting behind the driver, so I could see the speedo.
Yeah.
We're doing 120 through, like, this psychotically thing. And she just looked at me and she goes, do I even want to know how fast we're going? I'm like, nope. No, you really
and like,
don't.
so it's like, I guess if you've never been, 120 seems normal on an Australian highway.
Yeah.
It's open.
Yeah, it's open. Yeah,
You'll see a handful of cars that you might be able to overtake.
Yeah.
This is fucking jam-packed.
This is jam-packed.
And this is like, but it's not jam-packed with other cars. It's trucks.
Yeah.
It's tuk-tuks.
Yeah.
It's fucking scooters.
Yeah. And this guy was doing 120. Like, and he's just weaving. But everyone's doing 120. That's the crazy thing. Like, this is like this, and the thing. And
but everything works, man. Like a roundabout there? What the fuck is a roundabout? Do you know how, like, they're like, even in Canberra's like fucking roundabout city, and they're like, we put them in to slow people down. Not there.
Nah.
It's like, get in and get the fuck out of it. Yeah. So I remember, like, when they were talking to somebody, and they're like, when you're walking across the road, don't stop.
Yeah.
They're like, if you stop, you're going to die.
Yeah.
So it's like you're walking through fucking traffic, and it just works around you.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you stop,
that's it.
You die.
That's when you die. That's when someone hits you. It was absolutely.
It's fucking insane. Chaos.
Yeah.
But everything about it is chaos. The drinking on the street.
Yeah.
The traffic. The fucking ladyboys.
Yeah, I saw a few of them.
Ladyboys are fantastic people, by the way.
Look,
they're very aggressive, but they have very nice big ass hands and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want a massage? Not really. No, you'll fuck me up.
I didn't see. I mean, I saw a few ladyboys. We went to.
Were they hot?
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
That's a ladyboy.
Yeah.
But that's another rule of thumb. This is going to get me into trouble. I've had enough. If it's a hot Thai person, a hot Thai girl, it's a ladyboy.
Well, I saw because we went to one club and they actually had like the ladyboy section, and it was just full of old white. It's just full of old white males.
And they
but we like
somehow ignore that. But they're like probably the biggest homophobes back home.
Oh yeah, bloody
those homosexuals are taking over my homeland. So I came over here to get away from them. What's your name again? Darren. Why you got big hands there, Darren? Big hands and big tits.
A nice size cock.
Yeah, that's right. And they love it, dude.
So we didn't go into the ladyboy section because they literally had like the ladyboy section. Yeah. And then we're just like in the normal section. Not normal, fuck, I'm probably going to get myself in trouble. We're in the other section, just playing pool and stuff like that. And then I went to, and it's actually talking about the street food. I went to one and it was 50 baht and it was just, it literally the sign said brown soup. Perfect. And they had a ladyboy who was, you could tell it was a ladyboy, but she was out of garb. So she's just like normal street clothes, but very feminine, massive cans and like massive hands. Yeah. And she's just serving things. And to this day, I still don't know what was in that soup either, but it was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, that's right. It's always the best. I rocked up and this dude had meat just hanging from his thing. It wasn't refrigerated. It wasn't heated or anything. That's crazy. And he's like, you want some? And I was like, fuck yeah, I want some, dude. I am pissed as fuck. And he was like, eat it. And it was like, all it was like the wok it up bowls type thing, the plastic ones.
Yeah.
Like rice, this weird meat, and some like broth that he put over the top of it. And it was probably the best food I've
probably
ever.
Actually,
like I searched for that guy every day. I was like hanging out by the same spot. Yeah. Like, is he coming back, man? Do you know where I can get some of that weird meat, rice, brown soup shit?
Yeah, it was bloody good. And like you said, it was just a bowl, like you said, and they just be slapping on it. Here you go.
I think that's what Australia has to learn. Like, we have such a weird transphobic type thing. Over there, it is perfect. They are. Yeah. Everybody gets it.
Everyone. Yeah. No one cares. Everyone's happy. Everyone's just having a good time. And
there's no such thing as transphobia over there because it's just like this will probably get us into trouble, but it's like it just everybody gets it. It's not about like who's better than who there. It's just like we're just doing our thing, man.
We're just doing then stay in your lane, I'll stay in mine.
We're just doing our thing, man. Except they hate foreigners.
Yeah,
they do take the piss.
Oh, they do take the piss.
But I would too.
I got ripped off.
100% I would.
That was actually the thing I hated about Thailand in the end. I got sick of getting ripped off.
Did you go to those weird back rooms? For like, they're like, do you wanna watch?
No, no. We did go get like couples massage.
Oh damn!
But I did. So we went into this like, you want massage? Come in. I'm like, yeah, sweet. Like, cause massage is like $10. We get like a massage a day. Man. Yeah, it's like $10. For Australia for a massage for an hour. Like fuck yeah. But yeah, they took us in.
Big hands.
And so the sort of the older Thai woman, she like grabs this young hot Thai girl, and she's like, "You give this guy a massage, and I'll give you." But then we just started walking down this like alley, so it's like a doorway. It looks like a shop front, and then you walk through the door, and then you're in this alleyway.
It's a weird.
And then we walk down this alley, and we turn down this other one. We must have walked like a K, like a city block. It's like into this thing,
Chamber of Secrets type shit.
Like I nearly turned to the missus and was just like, "We gotta fucking get like." I was actually starting to get a bit worried. Like, I won't lie. I was like, holy 100%. Shit. Like, they're leading us down.
And do you know what's fucked up? Do you know what's fucked up about Thailand?
Yeah.
Everyone thinks because they're small. They're not very big people. Yeah. But they can all fight.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah.
They will kick you in the head so goddamn fast. so goddamn hard. You will fucking die. Yeah. But yeah, everything is in weird back alleys.
Yeah. And so we got there, and I'm pretty sure the massage where we got our massage was actually inside a Thai brothel. Then we walk when we finally get to this building, and there's just a bunch of girls.
How was it though?
Like massage is
probably the best massage you've ever had.
They were all fantastic, massive, and it was nothing like there was no like hand job, like it was nothing. No, like it was just strictly a massage, and that's all I wanted, and it was great. You can wink at the camera all you want, but my missus was like literally right next to me.
But I think that's the thing. Like you can go over there and just get a massage.
Yeah, you can just get a massage.
You're not a fucking psychopath.
But I'm pretty sure it was inside a brothel. And if I had said afterwards, hey, whatever.
I think most of them are though. I remember. So I think there was one time me and my girlfriend went out for dinner, and I was like, we went out with like a certain amount of money. Like we never took too much money out.
Yeah.
And then I was like, we found this bar, and it was fucking brilliant. It was so small. She's like, here's some like weird like puzzle games, figure it out.
Yeah.
So we're just sitting there getting smashed all day. And I was like, all right, I'll run back to the room, go to the safe, and I'll get more money out.
Yeah.
And as you run back, it's just like if you're like a dude by himself.
It's
just fucking swarm.
Yeah.
What are you doing, honey?
Yeah.
In Flight Ego though, I felt good. There's a little sense of it where you're like, no, don't. And then you're like,
oh, please don't. I'm not that good looking, I swear.
Fuck yes. I needed that.
I had the money belt. And that was my thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I bought one of those.
Had the money. I actually got. I did. Someone did try and pickpocket me over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, old Thai lady. In Bangkok.
Did she give money?
No, she didn't get any money because I wasn't. Yeah, but she bumped into me really hard, and as she bumped into me, I felt the hand go into my back pocket. I didn't have anything in my back pocket because I had the money belt and I had my wallet.
Just grabbing ass.
Yeah. But they said, but the moment I turned around, she could move because I looked down and you said they're really tiny people, and she was like particularly small. So she's just like ducked under my arm, and she's just through the crowd.
Out, see you later.
And I just saw this little grey head.
It's crazy how little they have over there in terms of money, considering how much like. Where we were, like we stayed at a resort, on the near the beach, right? And essentially, it's either young tourists who are coming to that area for the beach, or seedy old men.
Yeah, there's a lot of seedy old men.
Like tons of fucking cash, dude. And they're buying you could see them because it'd be like some fucking 50, 60-year-old geriatric fucking bald head. Walking around with like a fucking stunner, and she's like decked out and everything. You know what I mean? So there's like money there.
Yeah.
But I think it's like Fiji. So we went to Fiji.
Never been. Yeah.
It's nice. It's
I want to go.
Well, it's like Fiji. There's like a percentage of it that is nice, and the rest is just like farmland. And all of that. So we're staying at one of the resorts there, and we became friends with people. So there's no cash there. You can't use cash at all.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, that's weird. Well, that's really progressive. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, well, they're changing the world here in Fiji. No, it's to stop.
Pilfering
well, it's to stop you tipping them. Yeah. You're not allowed to tip the staff there. Do you know they get paid $5 Australian a day, and Fiji is fucking expensive.
That's fucking bullshit.
It is hugely expensive. I think the 5 days there, I spent I think it was $3,000.
Jesus.
$3,000 or $4,000, and that's We went for dinner on the last night. It was a fairly conservative dinner, but
yeah, that's insane.
You know what I mean? Entrees. There's 4 of us. Entrees, mains. I think I had we bought a bucket of beer and a bottle of wine, and I think it was like $800 or something. And then you look at the stuff. So we there was a mess up with our order. So like we called people over and we're like, there's something missing from our order. As soon as there's a complaint, some like old white dude runs out of nowhere and he's like, "Hey, what's going on over here?"
Yeah.
He's like, "That's not a problem." He's saying, like, "No, I'm just missing this from our order." And then he like drags people away and he's like, "Ah!" And fucking scream at him and shit. Yeah.
That's really but it actually reminds me. You ever been on a cruise ship?
No.
It's almost the same thing. So you're on a cruise ship, you're not allowed to tip, blah blah. But they pretty much just employ people from third world countries, so they can pay them fuck all.
Yeah, that's right.
And they do like 12-hour days.
They got that weird law on cruise ships, don't they? Where it's not tied to the particular port that they're from.
So they pay
these weird offshore things.
Yeah,
they have their own
fuck
laws.
all. And so, because like you, obviously, I like to talk to people. I like to get to know. So I was like, there's one lady in particular actually got chatting to her, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, no, like, it's not too bad." She goes, like I live on the ship, so I don't have to pay rent, and so I pretty much. But she was from I think she was from Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
But yeah, she pretty much she was like grew up third world, and she's just like, I don't make enough money so I can go back to where I'm from, and then I can live there for for like 9 months on the ship means I can live for 6 months like
on the land
on the land, and and pay. But she's like, but I pay for my entire family. But yeah, we're talking about it's like 11 hours a day, and they do. She was like, it was like I think they were like $10 an hour or something. Like it was like really
how fucking crazy
for the work they did.
How fucking crazy is that?
Like $10 an hour is.
Do you know what's fucked about it? There's some asshole at the top of that.
Yeah, just making.
He's like, "I own the ship."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, "I own the ship."
Yeah.
It's $8,000 for you to come on.
Yeah.
That's my white voice. The only white voice I've got. It's a
just
generic.
funny because you're white.
It's a generic. It's a generic cut and paste white voice.
Yeah,
I am white.
Anyway,
you know what I mean? But yeah, it's like. It's so fucking crazy how this weird tippy top.
Yeah.
And they justify it by like, but it's we're giving them a job.
We're giving them a job, and we're giving them free whatever.
And they can live here.
And it's literally 7 days a week.
Yeah, they can't stop,
7
right?
days a week.
But I used to know people who were like entertainers on cruise ships, like drummers and whatever.
Yeah.
And like it's fucking hell.
It would be.
It is fucking hell. It's like I guess it's like being like an air hostess without the payoff.
Oh god!
Like just like being an air hostess where you get to travel and you see a bit of the world.
Yeah,
it's like that, but you don't get to see shit.
Okay. Well, that's actually one thing about interstate truck driving. I used to do interstate stuff. It's the same thing. I've been to Brisbane. I've been to Adelaide.
Yeah,
I've been parts of New South Wales that most people have never even heard of.
Yeah,
didn't see any of it though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like my one trip to Brisbane. I drove from Victoria to Brisbane, so it's like 16 hours.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It was like, I think it's 16 hours. I literally drove there, parked outside a refinery, slept for 7 hours, drove into the refinery, was there for 2 hours while they filled up my truck and blah, blah, blah. And then I drove 16 hours back to Victoria. And that was my trip. Like, that's like my one time
I've been there.
Yeah, I've been to Brisbane, man.
I took a photo. I tagged myself in.
I tagged myself in Brisbane. I'm cool. But literally, that was like the trip. Like, I drove to Brisbane and I turned around and drove home again, essentially, like after a 7 hour sleep. Like it was.
There was always this this weird sense of like traveling. I think you have to go through a bit of both. So when I lived in Sydney, I worked in like this gym that was either like sort of middle class to the high class.
Yeah.
And they used to always be like, "I'm going on holidays." You're like, "Where are you going?" Like, "Oh, I'm going to go here and stay in London in this hotel. And then I'm coming home."
Yeah.
And you're like, why?
Why?
You can just do that here. It's like they have no sense of like of actually like traveling, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know where I pulled that from, but it's like, I guess it's that weird sense of going somewhere, just staying in a certain place and then just coming back. And they're like, "But I've been there.
I've been there. I can tick that off.
Yeah.
Tick that off the box. It was like I said, when people do that. So when I went to America, I only went to New York. Because when I went to, I was in America for 2 weeks, and people were like, "Well, what else are you going to see?" I'm like, what do you mean what else I'm going to see?
What'd you do in New York?
I'm going to go to New York. And they're like, but this is so much of America. And I was like, but I don't just want to travel from town to town. So I can say, I went to Washington. Hard. I went to New York and I just stayed in New York for 2 weeks. What did I do in New York? I got Mickey'd. My first night, I got Mickey'd. It was funny, you telling a story about getting drunk under the table. Yeah. I ended up in a very similar situation. I got to New York and a friend of mine who'd spent many years sort of living in New York, Australian chick. She's like, oh, you got to go down to this comedy club because I'm a comedian. Yeah. All right. But
makes sense.
But I warn you, it's a black comedy club. So you'll probably be like one of the only white people there. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool, whatever. So I went down to this club and I was having a great time. But I, forego the number one rule of like drinking in a weird place. I put my drink down and went to the toilet. And then I came out and
you would never do that here, though.
Yeah, exactly. That was so stupid.
Like, don't do that at my place.
Yeah, And so I just so I was having a great time, and watching there's a bit of comedy, and I was just running around being a bit of an Aussie menace.
100%. That's what we do, though, right?
The bouncer was just sitting there, like
shaking. You can see the Aussies when you go overseas, and you can hear them from them.
And then, but someone must have put something in my drink because I drank my drink and like I literally took a massive gulp. I finished my drink off. It was about half a Jack and Coke. Then straight away I was just like, oh, I don't feel so good. Like, don't get me wrong, I was pretty drunk, but having said it, I was just like, oh, I need to leave. And I walked to the front of the club, I opened the door, I stepped out in the street and everything just went black. And then the next memory I have, I'm sitting in a train. I don't even know how I made it to the train station because the train station was a 15-minute walk from the club. Next memory I have is I'm sitting in a train station and it's just like this pool of vomit next to me. And then the next memory I have, I'm sitting on the train and I've ripped my shirt off and I'm
100%.
I'm vomiting into my shirt. And there's this guy, and I just remember there's this guy.
He's a fucking Australian.
Sitting on the other side of the train, and he just had this real worry, like I just remember making eye contact with this dude, and I was just that. And then I must have got off the train and found my way out back on the street, because then the next memory I have is I'm in a taxi. And I'm just like, and for some reason I'd managed
still shirtless?
Yeah. Like, it's no, it wasn't my shirt. I ripped my jumper. I ripped off an item of clothing. I think I'd left that behind. Yeah. Like, I think I just, whatever.
You actually carried it around.
It was just left behind. And then I had this memory of just pretty much stepping out in the street and hailing this taxi. And I had memorized the hostel.
Yeah.
And I literally just
that's what I do every time I travel.
I just climbed into the seat and I'm just and I just said the address to him 3 times over.
Yeah.
And then the next memory I have, I'm inside the hostel in the shower and someone's banging on the door going, are you okay in there? And I'm like, fuck off, leave me alone.
100%. Yeah, how fucking terrible. You open that door?
Yeah. No, I was just like.
No, you'd be raped.
Yeah. So and
that's fucking
he actually turned out to be the nicest guy. Oh, okay. So I woke up the next morning. I woke up in my bed. So that's the night. And I dropped my wallet in the cab. Yeah. The cab driver stole my wallet. But I had managed to keep holding my bank card. So he had
what a shit human though. He's this person's drugged.
Yeah. Yeah. He stole my wallet. And the reason why I can say he stole my wallet is because he actually contacted the hostel and said, this guy's left his wallet in my cab. Get him to call me. And I rang him up. And he goes, hey, you dropped your wallet in my cab. Yeah. And I said, look, mate. And it had had my license, had a train ticket, had about $80 US and $70 Australian. And I said to him, oh yeah, cool. Can you bring it back? And he goes, look, I'll drop it off. And I said, look, there's
nothing in there.
I said, look, keep the American money.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, oh, but what about the other money? And I said, what about the other money? It's Australian money, mate. You don't need Australian money.
Yeah, what are you going to do with
it? Keep the American money. He's like, I guess. And then he just never showed up. Never brought my wallet back. So I think he. But I had managed to keep holding my bank card, so he didn't get my bank card.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
we lost one overseas. Yeah, what a fucking nightmare.
I lost one in Thailand too. But the guy, the guy who was in the hostel banging on the door, his name was Aki. He's this Japanese artist. Yeah, fuck, he was a cool dude. But he said I'd been in the shower for an hour and a half. And that's why he was knocking on the door.
Wasting water.
He's like, you've been in there for an hour and a half.
Get out, motherfucker. Run up the bill.
Vomiting.
You're fucking running up. It's weird.
We had a
so
great time.
me and my girlfriend were in. It's called Ljubljana. I forgot where it was. It's in like Eastern Europe somewhere. Lithuania. I don't know. We got spiked there. They spike you with happy drugs.
Oh, nice.
So it was like we were at this bar. She went to go get changed. I went to the bathroom. Same thing.
Yeah.
Ordered some drinks. Can you bring them here?
Yeah,
We're sitting at the end of the bar, but like this kind of table thing. Drop my drinks off. I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah.
Our hostel was like 2 minutes there. So I was like, by the time you get back, our drinks will be here.
Yeah.
You'll get changed, whatever. And this is like it's like a city revolved around a university. Right. So we get back, we have our drink, and she's like, let's go out. Let's do it. And this is like a Tuesday night, man.
Yeah, yeah. She was all amongst it.
Fucking just full steam ahead everywhere we went, man. You know what I mean? And she's never done anything before. Like I've done some shit. And I was like, are you fucked up? And I was like, what did you do when you went back to the hostel? She's like, nothing. Like I went back, I got some guy approached me. I told like, it's Europe. Europe's fucked. She's like, I told this guy to fuck off and I came back. And then it got to like 4 a.m. and I'm like, I am blasted.
Yeah, yeah.
So they spiked our drink, and I think what they do there is it is so fucking cheap there.
Yeah,
like when you come from like Germany, UK, and then you go to Eastern Europe, it is so fucking cheap.
Oh,
so
nice.
I think they just want you to drink.
They just want you to have a good time. And
so I think they peppered some shit in there, and we were fucked up. Like we were 5 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I am wide awake, and I was like, we've been spiked.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, I've never heard of a case where you get spiked with something that doesn't knock you the fuck out.
I reckon they spiked me to get rid of me because I was probably being I was being so annoying. Like, well, we got to get rid of this Australian.
He's like,
yeah. Let's just spike his drink and then he'll fuck off.
Did you meet any other Australians when you were over there?
I met so many Australians.
Fuck, that shit cuts through a crowd, doesn't it? You can hear an Australian accent over the top of everything.
Best part is I met about 5 other Australians. I actually travelled with one for a couple of days. There was 2 in my hostel, but my Australian accent was so strong that even these Australians were like, holy fuck, you're Australian. Like, they're like, you're the most ochre sounding fucking dude ever. But my favourite Australians, so I went to New York, and the only time I left New York is I actually booked a skydive in New Jersey. Because I love skydiving. So I'm like, I got to skydive while I'm in America.
Is New Jersey the only place they do it?
There was a skydive I found out after the fact in Long Island, which actually probably would have been easier for me to get to. Yeah. But New Jersey, at the time, I thought was the closest one. So I went to this, actually, it was really cool because one of the guys from hostel, his name was Nacho, he's from Argentina, decided just randomly to come with me. He's like, I'll come skydiving. Fuck, I've never been skydiving before. So he just comes skydiving with me. But so we took this bus and we it was like this full mission, like 2 hours to get this airport, blah, blah, blah. And then, we went to there's a town in New Jersey called Sparta. Like we're in this fucking this is Sparta and shit.
Yeah. Did they kick you out of the plane though? That'd be the best. I'll pay a little extra for that. Just kick me the fuck out.
So we finally got to this like little grass airport like that. Yeah. And then I'm like, there's this guy walking past me. I'm like, hey mate, can you tell me where the toilet is? And this guy just stops, like dead still. He turns to me and goes, where the fuck are you from? And I went, I'm from Australia. And he goes, I fucking know that, but where are you from? And I went, I'm from Canberra. And he goes, I'm from Byron Bay. This dude, the skydive instructor, is a retired...
We're everywhere.
Yeah, he's a retired police officer from Byron Bay, and he now lives over in as a skydive instructor in New York. And he's just like, you're the first Australian. And he's like, it was almost like crying happy. He's like, you're the first Australian I've seen in 6 months.
So when we went there, it's a weird experience for Australians because I think you get like a bit of a 50-50 from everybody.
Yeah.
You get they fucking love you.
Yeah.
Or they don't like you at all.
Yeah.
So when you fly into LA, right, nobody gives a fuck. They just want to get to wherever they're going and you're in their fucking way. So I remember getting off the plane. So you get to TSA, and TSA is like a lot different from Australia. Like you got to take your shoes off, you got to take your fucking everything. You got to get
the whole belt.
You know what I mean? And it's a bizarre thing. So America was the first place that I ever went overseas. So it was really weird. And then on the back end of a 15-hour flight, it's hard to process things, right?
Yeah.
So there's this one line. There's this fucking monster of a dude in front of me, right? He was huge, you could tell he wasn't there.
Yeah.
He just wanted to get through and whatever. So the TSA guy goes, "You," points to me and goes, "Come through." Okay, no worries. And this guy goes, "What the fuck, man?" And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "He told me to come through." And he's like, "I don't give a fuck, man." And I was like, "Oh my God." And it's like, I think all that bad shit you hear about America immediately comes from the back of your brain to the front. And you're like, this is it?
This is it?
This is how I fucking die. He's like, "You guys fucking always pushing it over here. I think you're around the country and shit." And I was like, I'm just trying to get through the thing. But then we got to you know how you get through like checkpoints and then it goes like bars and like cafes and stuff. So we get to the second part. We're sitting at this bar. It's probably at 9 o'clock in the morning. We're sitting there and we're like, fuck, we're hungry. We buy some sandwiches from the bar. And then these two dudes at the end of the bar, I'll never forget this. It's like a blonde dude. Some fat, not fat, but he was a larger gentleman that looked like a typical Las Vegas American man. He looks like one of the guys from like the porn stars. You know what I mean? He looked you guys are from Australia? Come drink with us. And we're like, it's fucking 9 o'clock in the morning. They bought us drinks, seriously, for 3 hours, like 2.5 hours or something. And their only rule was you had to do one shot, one beer.
Yeah, that's what their thing is.
And that's what we did for 2 hours straight. I remember getting on our connecting flight to Phoenix, banged up, super bad. And then I was like, and then everything was like smooth sailing from there. Go to Phoenix, everybody loves you. We went to Portland, everybody fucking loves you in Portland. Yeah. I remember like being in Portland. I lost my my passport at a strip club. No. So we had to drive to San Francisco to get another one. And I think the reason why I bring up the Australian thing is I was sitting there waiting for my temp passport to get back to Australia. And you could just hear these two Australian girls like from so far away. Like it was like down the fucking street. You get in the elevator and you can hear them coming up and you can hear, you know what I mean? And it just pierces through the crowd, man. It's like...
It's distinct. It's very distinct.
They're everywhere. And I think it's like... I guess it's like when anybody travels. When you travel, there's that sense of like, I can get away with it. I'm not home. Like nobody's going to fucking judge me. Nobody's going to stop me from being the biggest piece of shit I've ever been in my life. I'm going to turn it up to 11.
I'm totally with you. That's what I was doing. I was a menace. I got really fucked up because I had my birthday over there.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so I was drinking for like 40 hours because of the time difference. I started drinking and it turned into my birthday.
Australia you want that
time. One? Nah, I'll be right, man.
I got more in the fridge.
Nah, I'll be right. But I started like drinking when it became my birthday Australian time. Yeah. And I didn't finish drinking until my American birthday.
Yeah.
Actually sort of finished. But like you said, you just turn on those. So I was just like being a menace. And I actually got at one stage I was on the phone with my sister and there was this guy like eyeballing me in the club. And I'm not like a violent person. I was just like, what the fuck's your problem? I'm from fucking Australia. Like, you said that meme. It's like, he can't fight all of us. And then the Australians like, doing that Leonardo DiCaprio Bundy Rum thing. It was like that. I was like, fuck you. What do you do? Pull the gun out on me? Because my sister, I was on the phone. She's like, guy, they have guns over there. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't care. Pull your fucking gun out.
It was a crazy experience. So we went through all this stuff and it's like, we even went to a Subway, right? And there was this dude. He had like, you remember like the Dada get up?
Yeah.
He was wearing something essentially like that. And he kept pacing in and out of this Subway.
Yeah.
Wouldn't order anything. He'd walk up to the front, look, and then walk back out. And he'd walk back up to the front and then walk back out. And we're just sitting there and we're like, this is how we die. You know what I mean? It's like that weird assumption that everybody has guns over there.
This is how it's going to end.
But then it's like, there's that like the real reality of it where like the police are fucking hardcore over there.
Oh, dude. Did you go to New York at all?
No. So even in Portland, right, I watched this... she would have been like maybe 22-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Like get picked up and dumped on her head. Pa.
Wow.
And I went to like grab this. I was fucked. I was super drunk. Went to grab this cop and I was like, what are you doing? And everyone's like,
what are you doing? No,
you don't. They will fuck you up.
Yeah, they'll kill you.
Yeah, they don't give a shit.
Yeah,
man.
I went to the 9/11 memorial, obviously. And they're standing there with full automated assault shotguns. Like just cops, man. Like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, and then another time I was in the is it 32 Street Station. So we've got a few big stations there, and it's one of the big terminal stations. And yeah, literally you're walking around. Because I was like, I wanted to go up to a copper and be like, hey, you know, can we take a selfie? He's like, I'm from Australia, whatever. But
no,
when they're literally standing there with assault rifles, we're talking full like M16s, like it is scary.
It's scary to see it, man.
It's scary to see it, and it was also really unnerving how the Americans were just so like
adjusted
to
like
it,
super adjusted.
Yeah, and I'm just like looking like this guy. There's like 6 of them.
Yeah,
and they've got like 6, and we're talking guns that could mow down 100 people in like under 3 seconds. Like,
dude, even when you go to Italy. So we went to did we fly into Italy? I think we caught a train into Italy from where I think it was like Switzerland or whatever. You get there and it's just fucking 18-year-olds, 19-year-old kids, with fucking machine guns just standing there. And it's apparently that's just fucking normal. And like this is even in the States, you see them, but they're kind of like, I don't know. It's some way it's still fucked in your brain. Your brain goes, this isn't normal.
It's not there.
But then you go to Italy. If you go into one of their train stations, it's like getting into like Blacktown. Yeah, like one of those like sort of like edge of wherever.
Yeah.
And it's just a dude with a 19-year-old kid. Yeah, he's got a uniform on, but with a fucking machine gun. Yeah. And you're like,
what if this dude snaps his biscuit?
You're like, why? There's nobody here. We're like, there's 6 people on the train and you got like a fucking machine gun, man. Yeah, but that's right. It's like, what if your girlfriend breaks up with you?
Yeah, what if your girlfriend breaks up with you? Well, they're even going on a Staten Island ferry at sniffer dogs.
Oh, really?
So you can't get onto the Staten Island ferry from either side. If you've got a bag that's a briefcase or bigger, you have to present it to the dog to sniff. And so you got the cops
there. Is that a bombs or a drug thing?
Yeah, for bombs. Yeah, for bombs. They're dogs. And you have to stand there and they're for bombs because they don't want anyone blowing up the Staten Island ferry because he'd kill, thousands. Each ferry carries like 2,000 people or something. And and then next to him is the copper with the assault rifle because if you just try and I saw it only once or twice, but you see some guy, some American dude who's
like clicked it. He's like
obviously oblivious, just kind of, and he go and like, hey mate, like get over, and he's fully got like this big gun, and the guy's oh shit, sorry, and sort of comes
how
over.
normal is it?
But there's something on. But like I said, like you have to present your bag to this sniffer dog. Or the guy with the big machine gun is going to fucking shoot you in the back of the head. Like,
it's nuts, man. Like, so apparently, I'm like, even after we went on our trip, one of my mates is he's in a band. I don't know if you heard of him. He's from Hands Like Houses.
Okay.
He's a Canberra band, but they've done a lot of traveling over there. He went to Texas. He's like, everybody has guns.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not guns. It's like fucking guns.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And they're all attached to their hips.
Yeah.
They have gun racks in their cars. And he's like, it's fucking crazy, dude. He's like, everything is bigger in Texas, which means like big trucks.
Yeah.
Girls have big fake tits. And then he's like, and then they have ginormous fucking hand cannons on their waist, just walking around. Like nothing is going on. Like
did you see that picture on the internet where that guy had a bazooka on his back?
How it's just
getting the coffee? What the fuck do you need a bazooka to go get a coffee from? You fucked up my order.
It's like
hold
on. it's like you know what I mean? It's like, and they think it's like that's cool. That's all right.
Mate, he's a man. He's a real man.
How do you load it?
Yeah.
Where's the rocket? He's like he's just trying to fucking...
Yeah, it's not a weapon that you can...
It's like some idiot with a mortar.
Yeah.
He's like, just wait, just
hold on a second.
Trying to set it up.
Yeah. Me and the guy with 22 rifles already like popped you in the back of there. Like, like
it's fucking it's not insane, man.
It really is that, like, to have a bazooka, it really is literally a little dick thing because it's not a functional...
It's not a weapon that you can use for anything.
It's not a functional quick draw
weapon. Like... That raises so many questions because they're always like, well, we need it for protection.
From what?
What's coming into your house that you need a bazooka to protect yourself? Like an attack helicopter.
Yeah.
I'm worried about attack helicopters breaking into my home, touching my kids. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so crazy. But the fact is like he got into a shop and ordered food and everyone's like, Yeah. Okay. What do you want?
Yeah.
What's your name? Simon? He's like, no, it's James. Simon. Okay, Simon. He's like, no, it's fucking James. Okay, all right, it's James. I get it. James.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, it was also like, if I saw a dude, Belconnen Moore, he's at Guzman Gomez ordering a fucking thing with a bazooka, I would be out of there. I wouldn't be like, hold up a sec, I got to get a photo of this bitch. I'd be like, I'm going to distance myself from this dickhead.
It's fucking crazy.
As fast as I fucking can. I remember I had another guy from the States on the podcast, and it's such a bizarre thing where it's like, I think it's like a controlled Thailand.
Yeah.
And I think the more you control people, the more they lash out. Because like even like buying booze over there, get it from a service station.
Yeah.
Get it from a supermarket and just in like a random aisle, you know what I mean? Yeah. And there's very little to no checks to stop people buying things. And it is dirt fucking cheap.
Yeah.
And then you like, have a gun.
Have a gun.
You know what I mean?
Have a gun, you crazy son of a
Here's
bitch.
a 4 Loco. Here's a pistol.
Oh, it's nuts.
Have a good time.
It's absolutely nuts. And he said it's really weird, the culture shock too, the difference, because I remember a few years, like a number of years ago now, but I worked at a furniture shop and a guy came in with a gun on his hip. This is in Australia, here in Canberra. And the salesperson questions like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, he was like, oh no, I've got a special license to open carry. And
we don't.
And this person, like the salesperson's like, I don't care. You're not in a police uniform. You've got a gun on your hip. Get the fuck out of my shop before I call the cops. Because
got a special license.
And he's like, I got a lesson, I got a license. And he's like, fully, and we're like, we don't give a shit. This is Australia. People don't walk around with guns on their hips,
guns, man,
just for the fucking sake of it. Like, get the fuck out.
I think exactly like you said before. It's such a little dick thing.
Yeah,
it's like here, everyone's like, nope,
nah, just.
But it's also the thing here. It's like if you see a dude with a gun, he's well beyond talking down.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing you're gonna say to this man that is gonna make him put his gun away or not use it. Where it's like everybody in the States has them, so it's like you kind of get that reasonable, like margin of people of that are like, hey, put your gun away, and they're like, yeah, okay, man.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, what the fuck are you carrying it for? Why do you have a bazooka on your back? You fucking psychopath.
This is the craziest.
You know what I mean? There's a bit of a room to wiggle.
Yeah.
But it's I remember having the argument with them over there, and I was like, you guys are fucking gun crazy.
Oh, they're nuts. Yeah.
And like for me, I had a guy from the army on, and I'm like, guns are cool.
Yeah.
Guns would be sick. I would like to go and shoot many guns.
Yeah.
But nobody should have them in their home.
No one should have them like in the home.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's no fucking way. And over there, if you go, look, guys, you guys have really got a gun problem. Like, no, we don't. You guys aren't going to take my guns. I mean, no one's take your guns. You should just probably not have so many of them out there. Apparently, there's like three guns for like every person in the state.
It's crazy.
But it's like they always come with this argument. They're like, well, what happens when we get rid of them? And you're like, well, look at Australia, man.
Yeah.
The gun death has gone down dramatically since
glassing's gone up on the other hand.
Yeah, like, glassing it's really taken a hike. The glass industry is really raking it in at the moment. How much is it for to make a bottle of Coke? It's like $3. You glassing people 1,000 glasses a week.
Yeah, you're doing well.
they're really doing okay. Doing well. Just petty things like I'm gonna. No, I have a butterfly knife here, so I'm just going to stab you with a butter knife.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're starting to sharpen up butter knives.
Spoons.
Fucking forks. A fork will get you. That's 4 stabbings in one go. That is
time management. That's good time management. That's what that is.
It's just cutting grass there. It's just fucking getting it out of the way and just getting the job done. Kai, I think I think
we'll probably have to wrap it up there.
We're in a position now. I think anything beyond this, we're just going to get in trouble. Thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you for having me.
I'm going to come watch at the Boardwalk. I think you added me on Facebook.
Yeah.
Once again, plug it again.
So, Kai Fahey, CYFAHEY, Thinking Man's Bogan at the Boardwalk Bar on the 27th of March, which is a Saturday night. Go on my Facebook page, Kai Fahey Comedy. You'll find me there. The Boardwalk Bar, you find there, and just as a final thing, make sure you support local comedy people. Facebook, Stand Up Comedy in the ACT is the Facebook page there. And that's where all the gigs, mine included, will be posted. And just get out there. And yeah, there's a few rooms around. And, you know, the more people come, the more rooms we can build, the better the local scene.
That's right.
Gets, yeah.
I think that's perfect. I'll tag everything anyway.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'll link it to everything. So
cool.
Anyway, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Let's wrap it up,
buddy.
All right, my man.